Yo, what up? What up? Welcome everybody to a wonderful Monday here. Mic check Monday. Y'all already know what it is. Man, thumbs up in the chat. People in here already. We had a very heated discussion over the weekend about all-time features and about all-time greatness. Now, we'll get into all that in a second. First things first, I think that, you guys heard from me the night of the Kendrick Lamar concert, right? Yo, what up, Super Duper? We got him in the building already, man. Thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up. We got to get some people in here today because, like I said, I'm going to talk about this Kendrick concert quickly. But when we're talking about all-time features, right, I wanted to put together a list, the top 25 all-time, feature appearances in hip-hop. And I think for a lot of people think about features on like R&B records and things like that. And not to say that the R&B records will be excluded from this list, but when you start thinking about, the most powerful features in hip hop, they don't really offer that whole R&B balance. What do I mean by that? I'm thinking Outkast on International Players Anthem. Like, how can an R&B record or R&B feature even compete with something like that, right? Or even if you want to compare Biggie on Flavor in Your Ear, the remix compared to Biggie on Mary J. Blige's Real Love. When you have somebody coming in doing a feature with other MCs on there, that's a lot different than R&B artists, singing and then a rapper coming on there spitting their bars. So I think that's a separate list, saying all that to say, because it's very hard to compare Win Awards with, let's just say Jay-Z on Maya's Best of Me remix, right? So this list is going to be features based on their hip hop counterparts, if you will. But what I wanted to do, because a lot of people go out there and put together lists for shock value and this, that, and the third. I have about 25. I sparsed my list down to 25. I have no particular order. I want to go through it with the people. I want to get people's input on it and then start putting this thing in order, right? And then go from there so that we can have an actual credible list and a legit list. Because when I look on the internet, I don't see any hip hop feature list, top 25 list that looks credible to me, right? There's a lot of things left out. And I think a lot of people also are like, okay, well, how are you judging this? I want to balance this out with quality and impact. And you can't really put influence there, but I'll say just the gravity of the record, right? So I think this is going to be a great discussion. Yes, we're in the building. Shout out to everybody. But first things first, I spoke on the Kendrick Lamar concert the night that it happened. Me and Super Duper online. Shout out to Super Duper. He's in the building right now. And we actually watched this live on Twitch with Ron. Leroy was on there as well. And it was an impressive performance. I think the night of it gave it a 10 out of 10. I think some of the critiques of the performance was the fact that he didn't provide any new music or perform any new music. I don't think that was the proper. Well, I don't think that was the point of the performance, and that's okay. I think the new music is coming. I think that the point of this performance was to solidify this win. I think it was a victory lap for him. I think that it was him stating his claim as not only the number one guy of his era, but as Snoop called it, he's the king of LA. I think that those things can't be missed when we talk about Kendrick Lamar. And this is from somebody who didn't think that Kendrick was going to respond in the way that he did. But, I'm man enough to admit that, I was wrong. And I'm glad that Kendrick proved me wrong, just for the sake of hip hop and for the sake of the sport. Now, do I think that Drake is going to take this line down? Drake is still out here responding to Pusha T, subliminals and things like that. But I do think that in this situation, especially with a video coming, I don't know how I feel about the music video coming. They shot the music video for They're Not Like Us this weekend, and some people feel like Kendrick is milking this. Now, there's a thin line between, milking a diss record about an artist that is a huge, huge artist, and also promoting a single that clearly seems to be working. Hopefully, Kendrick will capitalize on the momentum, because if he capitalizes on the momentum, I can't call this milking the record. Now, if he doesn't really follow this up with anything immediate, it does feel like that could possibly be what this situation was. Now, granted, this is my prediction. I have no inside information at all. But to see the Black Hippies, and for the people who don't know who the Black Hippies are, it's Kendrick Lamar, J Rock, Ab-Soul, and Schoolboy Q. To see all of them in a shot with Punch and everybody else on that video, it makes me feel like this next Kendrick Lamar effort is gonna be more Good Kid, Mad City-ish. I feel like with the tone of what is being set on that set scene or scene set, whatever, in Compton and wherever LT shot it, because I think he shot it all around LA this weekend. I think that is Kendrick, quote unquote, coming back to the streets, coming back to hip hop, and not really being on that Mr. Morale type of stuff where things are themed, and which is great, you know what I'm saying, from an artistic standpoint. But I think that he hears what people are saying. And I think that this is the perfect time and the perfect platform to jump back out there and really hit people with some rap shit and really give us the TDE collaborations that we've kind of been missing for 10 years, at least on his part. And which is interesting because this comes after he technically left TDE, right? So I'm all for it. And I think that if it takes these type of things, I don't want to say to ground an artist, but it took Electric Circus for us to get B from Common. It takes those type of efforts. And honestly, it took Nostradamus for us to get Stillmatic from Nas. So I hope that Kendrick looks at it like that. One of my biggest fears with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was the fact that Kendrick was getting a lot of positive gratification from mainstream media, but it really wasn't the album that was up to his standards. I think that he takes that album for what it is, but I think that he knows now that it's more, and he knows now that he has to take things back to the streets, if you will. And when I say the streets, don't misquote me and think I'm talking about some banging gutter shit. I'm talking about the grassroots of hip hop and some core hip hop stuff. And that's what I saw from this Not Like Us music video. Now we'll see what it looks like, when it comes out, but it's very rare that you get a music video for a diss record. It happens in hip hop. It happened with Hit 'Em Up. It happened with Dre Day, a few others. But for him to actually go out there and get California involved, I don't know if this is more so about the fact that it's a diss record, or if it's the fact that it's a banger. And I think that Not Like Us is hip hop song of the year right now. That can't be denied. And when you got song of the year right now, and you got a song that's just playing on all airwaves and out of everybody's speakers, you got to work that record. But at the same time, so it doesn't look like what many people feel like it is, you got to have some music to follow up with it. And I think that Kendrick has proven over the past month or so that he is in a music making zone. And if he is making music at that rate and with this mindset, I think we're going to get a very, very, very good album from Kendrick. And I think it's going to be more along the lines of Damn Good Kid, Mad City. Those are my takes on that. And the performance was awesome. He did everything that he needed to do. I have no problem with the fact that he went out there and performed a select few of records. Obviously, the tone of what the concert was supposed to be had a theme. Kendrick is a person that runs on themes. I didn't expect him to go out there and perform anything off course. I didn't love swimming pools, but I think the swimming pools was basically about him performing. That was basically about taking it back to his first single on his first studio debut album, major label debut album. So other than that, I mean, I think that the performance was, if I want to critique it now and going back, looking at it again, I can give it a 9 out of 10 now as opposed to a 10 out of 10 like I did that night. But, could have been prisoner of the moment. But going back, looking at it a little bit more, I do think that if there was a misstep, I think that certain songs could have probably been, moved around. But other than that, man, him holding it down on his own, no hype, man. The clarity of it all, performing new records. When I say new records, I mean Euphoria. I mean everything that was, I guess maybe a month or two old, and bringing that energy. Had the crowd with it, moved the crowd, and he's further in the conversation. And this is something that's going to be added to his already incredible legacy. So shout out to Kendrick, and I expect some very great music on the way. And I said this when To Pimp a Butterfly was coming. When I first heard Black of the Berry, I was like, I think he's going to make a pretty great album coming out. And in my opinion, I think he did. I think I see Ron chime in. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, brother? What's good? What's good? What's good, man? How was the weekend?
Oh, man, crazy, man. But weekend's good, you know what I'm saying? Today's my mom's birthday. We celebrated that. My little cousin Donovan's birthday's today as well. So happy birthday to them.
Happy birthday, Mama Dorothy, man. I missed the celebration yesterday, man. I got some personal things going on. The wife, my wife's grandmother's transition. God willing, she stays with us a little bit longer, but she's in her transitional state right now. So prayers to my wife. So I had that going on. So I missed the party, man. Y'all had some barbecue, you had some chicken, which I had at the party.
Well, we had some chicken wings. We had some mac and cheese, green beans, some ham. My aunt really did it up. Had some lasagna there. It's like some chicken lasagna.
So you ain't tell me you was gonna have all that. I would have slid out.
We went to the pool over there. I didn't even know that there was a whole rec center or whatever at you guys' neighborhood. So yeah, it was dope.
Yeah. Shout out for the people. Mike's aunt lives right around the corner from me. So she lives in the neighborhood. So I was with the family, tending to my wife. I couldn't. And we jumped on the weekend ride with Leroy, so I couldn't slide out. But anyway, man, yeah, I heard your Kendrick post-analysis. You were prisoner in the moment that night. You were.
I still think it was a great performance. I mean, I don't think a 10 out of 10 is crazy. I think it's a memorable moment. We just got through talking about how important performance should be in this era. And to be honest, nobody in this era really takes performance as serious as Kendrick, Travis, and I'll give J. Cole that too.
Yo, so T2 Judges say these glasses are nice, man. I love them, man. These about $600 glasses, man. I love them. Anyway, but I give the show about eight or a 9, man. The only reason why I give it an 8 or a 9 because he only did 13 songs. I wish he would have gave us more songs. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, okay. 13 songs is a lot to do.
Really? 13 songs so you would feel comfortable going to a show, seeing a headlining act, only doing 13 records?
I'm trying to think of how many songs the Outkast did when they came here and did their little reunion tour or whatnot. 13 songs is a lot of songs, man. Like,
nah, really, Mike.
If we're going to be honest, it's like 3 or 4 singles. All right. If you have an album that has a lot of singles, that's 4 singles, right? That's 3 albums worth of singles. Now, how many songs are you expecting? Like 20?
I was expecting "Be Don't Kill My Vibe." I was expecting that,
But that's the thing, though, Ron. He could have done these songs. It's not like he didn't have the songs to do. He just chose a select 13 that fit within this theme. You know what I mean? And I don't think "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe" fit into what the initiative was that night.
I thought it was a great show. I would like to hear a couple more songs. But other than that, I would like to hear, but I think for the night, as you described it, for the purpose of the show, for him to plant his flag and say, I'm the victor. I'm the victor. This is for the West Coast. I'm the king of Cali. I'm the new king of hip hop. I think it served its purpose. So, a nine is a good number for the concert. I enjoyed it. And actually, when Kendrick goes on tour, me not being the biggest Kendrick Lamar fan, I think I'm gonna go check him out. I'm gonna go check a show
Great
out.
performer.
I'm gonna check it out.
These are the boxes that Kendrick checks off, right? And we talked about this, briefly when we were having our Jay-Z conversation over the weekend. Kendrick's a great performer from an ability standpoint, right? Especially when we talk about somebody who doesn't have the best rap voice. I think that's probably the weakest part of his game, but you can't help your voice, right? He's a really good performer, gives the energy, has the clarity, has the breath control, all of the technical things. He's a great technical rapper anyway. And he's a great storyteller. He has high marks with his album making ability, his storytelling ability, his lyrical ability, and his performance ability. And when we think about all the things that we want in an MC, those are some big things. Now, the hit records, he's not the biggest quote unquote hit maker. Man, if I had to rank him among his peers when it comes to, well, not among his peers, among all the MCs all time, when it comes to making hit records, I don't know. I don't know where I put him.
Could you put, I used to do back in the day, you in the summertime, they had the Labor Day mega mix on Hot 97, Hot 107.9, Hot 97. Right. And they would play an artist and they would go for like 30 minutes. So you can go to Apple Music, you can go to Tidal, Spotify, and you have some DJ. You can even go to YouTube or SoundCloud and type in an artist. And like, for example, Kanye West can run like an hour, right? You can find a mix of LL Cool J that can run for like 45 minutes. You can get a mix of Pac that can run 30 minutes. Do you think Kendrick has a catalog where a DJ can just put it on and just run it for like 45 minutes straight and just be bangers and it can just rock on Labor Day weekend or something like that? Is it like that? You said a catalog, right? Does he have that type of catalog for a DJ to do that?
Hold on. Mad Max says only words people knew was the diss songs. I think that, and I hate to answer your question with a statement like this, and I'm not slighting anything. Let me answer your question first. I don't think that he makes those kind of singles like a lot of the people in his peer group. We're talking about Future, Drake, Travis Scott. I think a DJ could really run wild with their catalog, mega mix wise. But if we're talking about between him and J. Cole, I think that he has more than J. Cole in that light.
Yeah, I can say that.
I think that's a sign of the era, and I think that him and J. Cole would approach making music differently if it was the 106 & Park era, if they were in that T.I. and Lil Wayne era.
But you can throw a lot of them J. Cole features in there though. I think J. Cole has a lot more to pull from. If a DJ's trying to, you got a DJ battle, and you give me Cole, and you got Kendrick. I got a lot more to pull from if I'm the Cole DJ.
Well, I mean, Kendrick does have Humble. Kendrick does have Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. He does have Backseat Freestyle. He does have Mad City. He does have, All Right, for all intents and purposes. He has DNA. And you know what? When he did Element, I was surprised, and that was hype. And I think that he has that kind of catalog where you could dig into the catalog and do a Money Trees or something that wasn't a super single, but it's kind of like a cult classic. The album that you like, Section 80 is full of them. You know what I'm saying? Like ADHD and records like that. Like, those are records that he has that bring up nostalgia for people. And it's very interesting because he's such a big artist, but I think he's bigger than his actual records, when a lot of the times it's the other way around. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says Backseat Freestyle would have been so fire in that arena. Yeah, he held back from a lot of those records because it didn't fit what he was trying to do that night.
Right.
And I think everything that he was trying to do that night or perform that night, with the exception of swimming pools, fit that.
Right. And I'm glad that Michael Brown, you out on the West Coast. Shout out to Michael Brown, man. He corrected me. He said, I don't know. I didn't know what I'm talking about. He said Power 106 here in LA did a 24-hour marathon of nothing but Kendrick on the pop-up day. Hits, features, deep cuts. That's dope. If you got a link to that, I like to hear that. I like to hear that. And no, T2, I'm not a hater. I'm just asking questions. We ask questions. That's all we do. We asking questions.
Yeah, it's dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I know that some podcasters out there and some hip hop pundits, they want to just be right all the time, and they want to put out, you know, they want to stick to the things that they initially put out, so they weren't wrong. Look, Kendrick has a catalog, and Kendrick's continuing on to his catalog. And one thing that I really hoped for him and for hip hop in general is the fact that he stayed hungry. And if this is what's gonna make him stay hungry, and from what I saw from the video shoot, this looks like a rapper that is hungry. Now there could be a catch-22 here. He could be getting caught up in the hype, or he could be getting staying hungry. One of the two. I think that he's staying hungry because he's grounded. He has his guys around him. You know what? Kendrick has a lot of parallels with Andre 3000, in my opinion. And I think that Kendrick really looks up to Andre 3000. They always kind of pair him up with Tupac, but you could tell stylistically in his approach and even the way that he carries himself a lot of times, Andre's probably his guy. I would love to have seen Andre, to some degree, rally himself around his Dungeon Family counterparts in the way that Kendrick just did with Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul, J-Rock, and just the rest of the crew. Punch, everybody, right? I think that right there to me shows me that he's about to really, really get grounded. And he's about to really go forth with some new music. Now, I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm hoping that that's what comes out of this. Now, what do you say when people are saying that he is milking this beef and running this song into the ground? Because he did perform that song like 5 times in a row. Was that a good move or not?
Well, you may be surprised, Mike. I don't think he's milking it. I don't think he is. I think he's just seizing. He's planting his flag. The record has galvanized the whole West Coast. It's got the community energized. So I don't think he's milking it at all. I think this is one of his statement songs. It won the battle. It put Drake on the ropes or even knocked him out. And I think what the song is representing to that community, I don't think he's milking it at all. Now, if we go 3 months, 6 months, if we get the football season and it's the Super Bowl and we got no new Kendrick album, and we got a video, then I would say, he didn't capitalize on the moment. But at this moment, I'm not going to say he's milking. I don't think so. I would. That's an unfair criticism. And I've been labeled as a hater. I've been labeled as not the biggest fan of K-Dot, but I wouldn't put that label on him right now as milking it. I think he was just, I heard he did the song multiple times at the pop out because he was shooting a music video. That makes sense. And the energy, I also heard people in the building. I wasn't there. We had some people that attended, requested him to run it back. And it was just a moment that they wanted to capture on film. It was a moment he wanted to share with the people. He shot the video over the weekend. So no, if we don't get any new music, then I wouldn't say he's milking. I would say it's a wasted opportunity. But I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't put that on Kendrick. I wouldn't.
What is Drake's next move?
Oh man. Drake's next move. I don't know what. If I'm in Drake's camp right now, I would just go back to the studio and make some good music, man. I think that's the only thing he can do. I would try to. I mean, he's like a man without a home right now. All his connects are gone. He can't go to Future and he can't do a collaboration album. Maybe he can do another with 21 Savage. Maybe he goes back to that and just say, hey man, let's do another collaboration album. Let's do that. Maybe he goes back to him and Wayne come out with a collaboration. I think he might go back home. Go back to his roots, Young Money, Cash Money, make a record with Wayne, kind of get the people talking again, jump on a record with Wayne. He can't do the Cole thing because Cole tapped out. So I think Wayne is his only option. Hook up with Wayne. Yeah, he don't have a lot of moves left, but I think he needs to choose really carefully, move wisely, and then get with his camp and make some good music. Because right now, I think he's on the ropes, if not knocked out.
I think it's very odd that Wayne and Nicki have handled this situation the way they have. I'm not saying they got to come through guns blazing or whatnot, but when you see your guy getting ganged up on like that, and you're so respected in so many facets, it's just very odd that nobody is saying anything. All of these people who have collaborated with Drake all these years and have worked with him and sang his praises, he's made a lot of hits for them. I just think it's wild that people are sitting back letting this happen. It's all the way from, respectfully, man. Like, even when you see the people that were at the concert, yeah, LeBron James there. You know what I mean? Like, and I know DeMar DeRozan and Kendrick are cool and all of that, but this guy did play for Toronto, and Drake has shown this man love all over the years. And again, I'm not saying that people got to quote unquote pick sides, but it just feels like that, man. They never liked this guy, and they just dealt with him while they had to. But as soon as it went the other way, it was like, okay, well, you're on your own. And I think that if there is a blueprint for this, and I know people might think this sounds crazy, but Drake can look at what Gunna has been able to do over the past couple of years, especially when he dropped his album last year and dropped Fuck You Mean. He literally had no help. It was people out there, like producers that he was longtime collaborators. They were backing out of their, I don't want to say partnership, but they said they weren't working with him. And he went out there and still made a dope album. He made a dope album this year too. And I think that this has to be one of those, if you're reading this, it's too late type of Drake projects that comes next. Now, granted, he does have the young people. He does have the people like Yachty, people like Sexy Red and all of them that still, rock with him. And like you said, 21 Savage. But I say that he needs to push all of those things to the side, and he needs to go out here and make a solo dope album. This is the opportunity to do if you're reading this, it's too late. And I don't want to even, because I know people on this channel, their heads will blow off if I say this, but I'm not saying that he can make it Stillmatic. But I am saying that he could go out there and make a solo mission and, have some fire behind it, and this is the opportunity to do that. Now, I think this is an opportunity for both artists to deliver a dope album, a great album. LP with the super chat says he smashed Wayne's lady and ruined Nicki's man's career. Y'all really think that Nicki's man? Y'all talking about Meek? Oh, come on, man. Again, man. I don't know, man. To me, I feel like it's more to this than a woman. It has to be, and if it's not, then I'm disappointed in these guys.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's crazy.
I usually have ways. I usually think I can think of ways to bounce back and to recover. I've been racking my brain on this one. I just think you got to lay low and you got to come out with a dope record. I think Drake made a lot of mistakes. If he can go back in time, he would have broke up Family Matters in multiple parts. He should have came out to Dreamville. He should have convinced Cole not to do that. That was the first thing. He should have gave Cole some money. It's like, yo, man, I give you a bag, man. Please don't go out there.
He did everything for.
He should have told him, don't do that, because imagine if Cole and Drake would have did first person shooter at Dreamville. He brought Drake out, and they just did the record and left it at that. He shouldn't have. That really took the wind out of Drake's sails, man. Now he can't even turn to Cole because that was his partner in this beef. Now everybody kind of 20v1'd him. He can't move like that. But I think that was the first mistake, not having Cole 100% in his pocket. Like, yo, man, don't go out there, apologize. Let me pop out on Dreamville. Let me do first person shooter. Let's get those visuals. Let's get that moment, on camera. Get that moment on YouTube. The crowd is going crazy. Break up Family Matters in 3 parts, and also on push-ups, don't change the original song. You know what I'm saying? Keep the Get Money sample, keep those same vocals. I think he would have had a better turnout. And then when he did do, and the AI record kind of messed him up too. He shouldn't have done that. I think that was a mistake. So it's looking bad, man.
Listen, and again, a lot of this is Monday morning quarterbacking. I think that he made those records not thinking, and none of us thought that Kendrick was going to respond with an arsenal of records. We're talking about a guy who doesn't record a lot. It took him almost 6 years or 5 years to put out an album, and he didn't really have many songs out there in between. And I think that he knew that, okay, if he hits me with 2 records, I can hit him with 3. And he didn't think those records are going to come at that rate. So as far as the AI thing, that was to bait this dude to respond. And I don't fault him too much for that, because it had been some time and people didn't think that he was going to respond, me being one of those people. So a lot of the mistakes that were made are mistakes that were based on, they were very calculated. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't think that he was going to respond like that. But I guess you got to be prepared for anything. But what Drake needs to do, you got to look at the things that you do have in your corner. He has a whole country in his corner. That's big. Not a lot of people have a whole country. Like, Kendrick might have a whole coast right now, but Drake has a whole country. And so you got to look at that, right? I think the other move, man, he's a hit maker out here. A lot of people depend on him for hits. I think he needs to pull a Black Album move. I think he needs to say, you know what? I'm going to do my last album. Whoever wants to be a part of it, be a part of it. I'm going to have a real strict list. It's my Black Album type thing. And, see how much you miss me when I no longer exist type stuff. And make a great album and seemingly walk away. Mad Max with the super chat says, maybe Drake told them to stay out. I don't think that was the case, because the way Drake talks about the J. Cole thing doesn't sound like it's one of those things that he told him to do. Mad Max with the super chat says, people fake hate the AI record. Rakim said it was. Rakim said it was fire. What did Rakim say it was fire? I got to look at that new Rakim interview. He must have done something on TMZ, I think, or maybe another interview. We need to interview Rakim, man. He got new music coming out.
We do. We need to holler at him.
And sure, we need to talk to Pete Rock about this this Common album as well. We need to put that together. But yeah, man. Of course, he needs to come with some great music. But I guess my thought process is, what's the process of it, right? I think it needs to be a Black Album type of situation. I think it needs to be a solo mission. I think that producers will still work with Drake, obviously, because Drake is a paycheck. Why wouldn't you work with Drake? And I think that he could get a lot of talent involved to make a album and really blow up the charts. Now, I also do think this is content is about getting the market first. I think if Drake could come with that great album before Kendrick can drop his album, I think that'll die this down. And it's kind of like, I hate to bring this up, but Dave Chappelle brought this up. When Kobe was going through his issues, what quieted people down was his play on the court. He went out there and was going crazy.
Yeah, I just don't think Drake can do that right now. I think he's in a position where a segment of the culture has turned against him. Kendrick has put a spotlight on some of his moves that he's done in Atlanta, working with Little Baby, working with Young Thug, 21 Savage, Future. I think he's on the island by himself, so he had to wait this out. I got to go back and read my books and look at the lessons of the 33 strategies of war and the 48 laws of power and see the moves that Drake needs to make. But right now, I think he needs to wait it out because he can't beat him to the punch. I mean, I think if the pop out and what Kendrick's doing right now has got him on an island where he can't make a sudden move, because if he makes a sudden move, it'll be a critical mistake. So he got to lay low, Go in the studio, make some dope records. I still think people in the chat saying Wayne is washed. I don't think he's washed. I think Wayne is older. But I think if you go back and listen, and you guys haven't probably listened to it, but if you listen to College Grove 2 with him and 2 Chainz, Wayne's pen game is crazy.
Yeah, Wayne's rapping at a high level right now.
Wayne is rapping at a very high level. So I think you take it back to the basics, man. Go to Wayne. Y'all cook up something. Maybe y'all do like a little like an EP, put out about 5 songs or whatever. Go to 21 Savage.
I like that idea. I like that idea. Not to interrupt you, but I do think that Wayne owes Drake Watch the Throne. He does. And it's the perfect time to do it, man. And like you said, Wayne's rapping at a high level. He's made 2 albums with 2 Chainz, and I love 2 Chainz, but everything that Drake's done for Wayne and his legacy and his company, he can do that same thing with Drake that he did with 2 Chainz.
I think so. I think that's the best move that he can make right now is do a Young Money, Drake and Wayne. People have been asking for it for years. They got a hell of a lot of records. They can even put out a compilation of all the music they made and run it. Right. And that'll stave Drake off some criticism, because you ain't really gonna go if you got Wayne next to you, who's a legend, who's an OG in hip hop, who's cemented in the game. That's gonna shield you from some of the vitriol and the culture. The culture protectors, because you can't say, well, you ain't gonna ride on Wayne like that, because Wayne's been holding the damn culture down in his own way for over 20 years. So that's the move. That's the move, man.
Mad Max with the super chat says, I think Drake has the South more than Canada, Mike. Really? Mad Max with the super chat says, no told Nicki and Wayne. I guess that's something. But all right. So even with that being said, though, it's like you said, they made so many great records together. They have a compilation just based on the features that they've done with each other over the years. Do you think that Wayne has a top 25 hip hop feature in his catalog, in his arsenal?
Oh, you jump into that topic. I think he does, man. I think if you're being objective, I think you can look at well, I don't know if that's you're gonna classify as a DJ Drama song or is that a Wayne song, but you can say Cannon.
I had Cannon on my short list, actually.
You can say The Motto with Drake.
Okay.
You can say The Motto with Drake. You can say Miss Me with Drake. You can say those records. I think that would be approaching. And if you want to be technical about it, I mean, I know he doesn't have a full 16 bar verse, but is Back That Ass Up the same song without Wayne on it?
Nah, but the thing is, man, again, I think that his presence is definitely felt on that record. But when you start putting it up against other people who spit full verses, I don't know how fair it is to actually, it won't stand up against it,
Duffel Bag Boy is another one. I mean, Wayne's got a lot. I mean,
I think Bling Bling is a shining moment for him too. That was the breakout.
We can do a whole show on Wayne features. We just call the show the best Wayne features of all time. We can probably have like 30 different ones we can kind of parse through.
Well, I think that I'm changing my stance on what I said the other day. I said Method Man is the king of features, and I think Method Man is very high when it comes to features. I was doing my research, going through this top 25 features all-time list, man. It's Biggie, man. Biggie's features are crazy, man.
You are a little Biggie
and
heavy.
He did it in such a short window of time, man.
You were a little Biggie heavy on your list, man. I saw the preview of your list, man. You were a little Biggie heavy. Your list was, you had about 16 or 17 of the same songs I had on mine, but you're a little Biggie heavy. And then also, I think you're playing the TV game for your fans, Mike, and you're trying to play nice and put some stuff on songs I know you know.
All right, let's get to it.
Let me finish. I know you know them songs ain't like that, Mike, but you trying to get likes. You're trying to get likes and subscribers. I understand.
I'm not.
Yes,
I'm trying to be fair and balanced. You know how I feel about Renegade.
I'm gonna tell the truth. You don't like them records like that, and you know damn for sure them records is not on the 25 features on your phone of all time.
No, you're right. This is not just Mike's personal list. I think that I'm trying to put together an accurate list. Now, let's face the elephant in the room here, right? I put Eminem feature on Renegade. And you know how I feel about
I'm gonna
Renegade.
put you solo on this thing.
I think Renegade shouldn't have made it on the blueprint. I don't think that the song fits on the album. I think it's one of the weaker moments of the album. I think Renegade, Ola Ovito, and Jigga That Nigga Jigga are the weak moments of the blueprint, in my opinion. But I can't front on how high people hold Renegade. Renegade's always the go-to when they talk about Eminem's greatness. Renegade was a pivotal piece in the whole Ether thing with the whole Eminem murdered you on your own shit. Renegade is a staple. I mean, should Renegade not be considered
No,
top 25
it
feature of
shouldn't.
all time?
No, it shouldn't, because this. I thought when you were putting together the list, it wasn't what the people thought. It was what are the best 25 hip hop features of all time, not what the people or what Interscope told people to say. Is what the actual top 25 verses are.
Well, no. Don't get it messed up. I think that Eminem did work on Renegade. I think he did. He's on the blueprint. He's rapping at a high level.
So that verse is better than Redman Headbanger? Come on, let's be for real.
I got Headbanger. I had it on my short notes, right?
Let's be for real.
Headbanger, no. That's a good point.
Redman. It's not.
That is a very good point. That's a very good point. If you ask me, I'm going Headbanger. But if you ask the masses,
if you just ask the verse, ask the music. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. Don't ask you. What does the music tell you? Is Headbanger a better, that Redman verse on Headbanger, the EPMD record? Is that a better verse than the Eminem Renegade? And the answer is yes.
Be honest. I'm gonna be honest here. You know I love Redman. Redman is my guy. Redman is better. Headbanger, the song is better, but Eminem's verse on Renegade is actually better. It's one of his better verses. I don't think Headbanger is one of Redman's best verses. I think it's his breakthrough verse.
What's the list, Mike? Because what's the list?
Okay,
Mike?
well, all right. I just want to ask the people right now. Do you think that Renegade should be on here? And there are 3 Eminem verses that I was debating about. I was debating Dead Wrong. I was debating features, excuse me. I was debating Dead Wrong. I was debating Forgot About Dre, and I was debating Renegade. They said poll it. Let's do it. Let's poll it. That's why we're here. I'm gonna poll it real quick. Is Renegade a top 25 hip hop feature all time?
Well, let's go through the list first, and let's find out if before you poll it. Let's find out what's missing, because I think you're missing something. Let's be for real.
Okay.
I can say Fat Joe's or Foxy Brown's verse on I Shot You is better than Renegade's verse. I can say that. Or Prodigy's verse.
The verse I got from I Shot You is Prodigy. And I
think Foxy's verse is better than Eminem's verse on Renegade. And that's just the truth. Now it might not be the most popular thing to say, but I don't really give a damn about popularity. I'm telling the truth on here.
Okay.
That Foxy Brown verse on I Shot You is better than Eminem's verse on Renegade. It's just the truth. And hell, and I know y'all don't like Joe, but Fat Joe's verse is better than Eminem's verse on Renegade. It just is.
Not. Now that's not true.
And I'm not just saying shit. It's the truth. It's the truth.
That's not true. I might be with you on Foxy. But see, the thing is, I think a lot of the records, with the exception of some of the Biggie features, these are breakthrough features, right? I think
I'm not telling the truth.
I think T.I.'s verse on Never Scared. What do you think about T.I.'s verse on Never Scared being considered in this?
That verse was hard. I can see why if you want to look at, if you're trying to make a holistic list and look at all regions and make sure you consider a lot of artists, I think the Never Scared verse with T.I., you could say that you can make an argument.
That's a breakthrough moment. You know what I'm saying? I think that verse set up T.I.'s career to go where it was going at that time. And honestly, I don't think that song does what it does without T.I.'s verse at all. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, "Drop It Like It's Hot, Bling Bling, and Make It Rain are all commonly used terms that come from Wayne features. All 3 changed our vocabulary." Now, he only has a verse on one of those songs, though, which, again, I get it, but it's tough when you're going against other people who have full out featured verses. Now, I'm just going through some of the stuff that was at the top end of the list, right? The stuff that I was debating whether it should make it or not. T.I.'s verse on Never Scared is one of those. Eminem's Renegade is one of those. I'm not even going to get into the Kendrick thing yet. We'll talk about that later. Because we just got off.
Come on, man.
Prodigy on Who Shot You remix. I Shot You. Sorry, Who Shot You?
Yeah, I can.
Prodigy on I Shot You remix.
I agree. You got me there. You got me there. We're in agreement. I think, like I said, your list that you shared earlier, I only had two. I had a couple. I think you were a little Biggie heavy, and I think there's two records on there that I don't think should have been on there. But other than that,
well, let's get to the Biggie shit then. You don't think the Biggie's Victory feature is a top 25 feature also?
If you were to poll, I mean, if you were to go to Brooklyn, or if you would go anywhere, LA, Atlanta, Chicago, if you ask the people what are Biggie's best features, I think they would say Can't You See with Total. I think they would say Flavor in Your Remix. Those are the two Biggie features that would pop up in people's minds. Or even The Rain with Shaq. You know what I'm saying? So I think those are some of the features before you get the Victory. Because really that's, I don't know. I think that's a dope feature, but I think those other features will pop up in people's mind before you get the Victory. Even though it's a dope one.
I think it would. Yeah, Victory's epic. I mean, the verses are killer on there. And they say that's the last verses that he recorded, like the night before he was murdered, too. So there's a lot of eeriness on that level, too. But anyone, Tyson, Jordan, Jackson, Action, Pat Guns, Ridiculous. I don't know, man. You're not gonna find a lot of features that are like what Biggie did on Victory, or like what Biggie did on Can't Stop the Rain, or like what Biggie did on, I'll give you Can't You See. If I'm putting any R&B record on this list, it would be Can't You See, because I think that Biggie's verse on Total's Can't You See is probably the best rap verse on an R&B record ever.
Yeah, and it still goes to this day. And no, somebody said, I do not think my opinions are facts. I just like to ask questions. We ask questions on this platform. We have conversations. And I'll change my mind from time if you tune in. I do change my mind.
Mad Max says Mystical on Move Bitch verse, Mike. I like the Mystical pick. I'll write that down, but I don't know if that's gonna stay. The other Biggie one I had Victory, Flavor in Your Ear, of course. Niggas is mad. I get more butt than ashtrays. Fuck a fair one. I get mine the fast way. Ski mask way. Nigga ransom notes. Far from handsome. Well, damn a nigga tote. What you tote? More guns than roses. Sticking in their boots. Invisible bully. Like the boot. Yeah, that nigga's crazy, man.
Yeah, because feature game is impeccable.
It's crazy, man. Stop the Rain. And that ain't even counting stuff like the B-side with the Brat. I never knew that you never had a clue on who was the king of the streets. 4 deep in the Range Rover Jeep, gats under the seat, and my homeboy came home from work release. And then if you want to count it, technically, Get Money is a feature too.
Is it really? It's a feature, yeah. I mean,
yeah. I mean, technically, yeah. Biggie's the feature king, and I ain't even count Dolly Baby. The Super Cat shit, that nigga went crazy on that.
He might be the greatest. He has some of the greatest feature verses of all time.
He really did.
That's an opinion, but that could be considered a fact.
What do you think of it? I think his Can't Stop the Rain feature could be his best, though.
I'm still gonna say, just for the impact it had. I mean, from a lyrical standpoint, the Can't Stop the Rain feature might be the best. Victory was, I mean, if you want to talk about from bar work, straight bar work, Victory, Can't Stop the Rain, but the impact, I still see the impact of Can't You See feature to this day. You know what I'm saying? So I have to give that the nod because of the impact.
So, okay. I'm okay with Can't You See being. Now, let me write this on.
Flavor in Your Ear too. Those two still, I mean, if you were to poll it, I don't know, depending on who you poll, the sample size, I would think people would have Can't You See as his best feature.
Now, Now I know that Biggie, he started off with the Mary record, Real Love remix. But to me, I feel like Flavor in Your Ear was his breakthrough verse. And for that, that's important. Because that was my first time really seeing Biggie actually.
Really?
When I saw him on the Flavor in Your Ear remix, I'm like, who's this guy? Yeah, I feel like that was that first time seeing Big. We got a super chat over here from I can't even see. Is it Falcon?
Deuce Falco.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He done changed up the fonts of his joints. Says easily AZ Life's a Bitch feature is up there. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's on the list. Mad Max super chat says Victory is top 25. I think so too, man. That Can't Stop the Rain verse, man. The second verse, Alon to a Lemon, My DC Women.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Televisions in them. Watch your entourage turn yours to just mirages. Disappearing acts, strictly nines and max, killers be serial, Copperfield material. All right. But I mean, do I have too many Biggie features on here? But I think he has. I think he has.
Keep going with the list. Keep going.
Okay. I got Bone Thugs and Harmonies. Since we're gonna stay on the Biggie theme, I think Bone Thugs and Harmonies, Notorious Thug feature should be on this list. Game changer.
I think you can say that, but I think it's hard to know until we hear the rest of the list. What could go, what should stay? You know.
What do you think about Tupac Smile, Scarface?
Oh yeah, that was on my list. That was on my list, so I had that on there. So that's what we agree. So I think I didn't have the Bone record. I didn't have the Bone feature on there. I didn't have the other two that we'll talk about later. I didn't have Renegade on my list, and I didn't have the one that you're going to talk about in a minute on your list. I didn't have Victory, but other than that, our list is kind of lining up.
We got 50 votes, and people are saying overwhelmingly, no, Renegade shouldn't be on here. You guys make me proud.
Yeah. That makes me very happy. That makes me very happy.
You guys make me proud. Okay. Nas Verbal Intercourse.
Yep, that was on the list. That was on my short list.
I didn't put this on the list, but I think it should be. I got Nas Live from the Barbecue.
I had that on my list.
Canibus, Beast from the East.
I had that on my list.
Twister, Po Pimpin'.
I did not have that on my list. I could have easily put it on my list, but I just didn't have it on my list. No, I didn't.
Yo, who is this spamming, man?
Y'all want a sports show? No, you got to get out of here, man. We'll get on a sports show later.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So I got Snoop Dogg G-Thing.
Had that on the list. Yep.
Snoop Dogg Deep Cover.
Yep. Snoop was twice on my list.
Busta Rhymes Scenario.
Yep.
Method Man Shadowboxing.
That's on the list.
That's probably one of my favorite features, period, man. Now, I'm not going to have it super high because of the impact might not be where the other ones are. But personally, yeah, that one's up there. I got Kane and Cool G Rap on the Symphony.
That was on the list.
Okay. Kane and Cool G Rap on the Symphony. I got Jay-Z Money Ain't a Thing.
I don't have that on the list. I've got 2 Jay-Z songs on the notes that I have, but Money Ain't a Thing did not make the cut.
Well, let me explain Money Ain't a Thing because I know Jay-Z is going to be a big topic here. I love the way Jay approached that. That's that game spitter Jay. That's that conversational Jay. X and O, sign a check for your hoe. Jigga style is love. X and O. Save all the accolades, just the dough. My game is wide, all lanes aside. Trying to stay alive, 100,000 for the bracelet. Foolish ain't out a chain to string your eye. He took over that record. That record is important.
I mean, that wasn't hard to do with Jermaine Dupri. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's his. But see, it's revisionist history because at the time Jay didn't have a hit like that.
But that song sounds dated, Mike. No, they ain't playing that record right now. Okay. That's a dated record that you're not going to hear. But the records that I have, I actually hear.
Okay.
You know, it's not Ron's
What J
opinion.
records do you have?
It's not. I got 2 J records, and these are records that I actually hear that would come. I hear. Guess Who's Back on the Fix. What's called? I hear that record, that feature from Jay, and I also hear The Best of Me with Maya. And I know we were trying to stay away from the R&B lane, but I still hear that verse. I still hear when I'm out. I still hear it.
Carolina Blue Kicks, hottest nigga on the block, used to Willie bicycle
since I was 6.
I love the record. I think now I disagree with you on the Maya record. I feel like that one is a little dated, but hey, that's just my opinion. Kendra with the super chat says, "What about Drop the World with Wayne and Eminem? What say you?"
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that record, but if you like it, that's cool. I mean, I just, I liked Wayne's verse on it, but I mean, it was all right. It was all right.
Okay. I mean, I just don't want this to be an old nigga list either. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not. It's not. I was actually going to put Mos Def Peppers with West Side Gun on here to make it a little bit more contemporary, but
that's not a top
20. It's not.
And they did a great job on there, though. Don't get it fucked up. Speaking of Black Star, what do you think about Common's feature on Respiration?
That could be considered a top 25 feature. That could be. I like his verse on that.
Respiration is Black Star's best song. And yeah, Common's presence is felt on there. I don't know. I guess I put that over Renegade, right? Kendrick Lamar, Control.
I'll put the solo screen on you, man.
All right, let's poll this real quick.
I'll put the solo screen on you, man.
No. Okay, let's do this. I want to poll
this. Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all not being honest on here, man. I mean, the Go Crazy verse. That was on my short list too. So yeah, the Go Crazy verse almost made the list on my list.
Let's see. I want to see what people say about Control.
Or the kitchen master, the kitchen cupboard. One in the street kitchen, Hove.
Oh, somebody said Exhibit's verse on What's the Difference? That's the L Web. Excuse me. Shout out to him with the super chat. Glad you mentioned Exhibit, because I was thinking Exhibit's verse on Bitch Please. What do you think about that?
That's a tough verse.
And it's a breakthrough verse for him too. I mean, without Bitch Please, there's no Pimp My Ride, there's no What's the Difference. None of those things happen. I don't think the Restless album even happens without that verse.
Yeah, I would say. And when we start talking about these records, the more records that the people are putting up in the chat, the more we have this conversation, we are being prisoners of the moment. And by saying Control, because the people that I would love to do an audit on their phones and see if they actually played Control in the last 3 weeks, 6 months. They might have played it because of the pop-up.
Is Control even on streaming platforms?
I don't even know, but I mean, they could have probably played it because the pop out was last week and they wanted to be nostalgic, but ain't nobody playing that record like that, man. I mean, that's okay. We talk about history of hip hop of 50 years. And you're telling me that verse on Control is the top 25 features. It's not honest, man. Y'all guys are not being honest. It's not true. I'm sorry.
Mad Max with the super chat says Drake Stay Scheming. Now I had that on my short list. What say you about Stay Scheming from Drake?
I had that on my short list. Also had another person's popped up. That's why it's so disrespectful when people call out these damn verses like on Control. Inspect the deck above the clouds. Let's be for real. Come on, man.
I thought about that one actually.
Let's be honest here, guys. Come on.
Well, you know what? Since we're playing the Inspect the Deck game, what about Inspect the Deck on Guillotine? Poison the sour grass, smash the phonograph, and have it be to inspect the deck on the warpath.
I mean, you're making my case, Mike.
Mad Max of the super chat says nostalgia and Like That are better than Control. Huh. Now, I know people like to separate Andre and Big Boy, but I thought it was fitting that both of them on this record with another group as well, another legendary group. I think Outkast on International Players Anthem has to be a top 25 feature because it is an Outkast feature. It's not an Andre feature because both of them are on it. It's an Outkast feature, and Big Boy did his thing on that record too. What say you about Outkast International Players Anthem?
I had it. I had it on my list, but I had it as Andre. But as I thought about it, I would have to say I gotta give Big Boy his props because Big Boy's verse was dope. So I would have to say you're right, Mike. You're right. You have to say the Outkast feature is good. And on my honorable mention, I had Pete Rock and CL Smooth Down with the King.
That's a good one.
Down with the King is an honorable mention. So yes, we have to cite Outkast as a feature on International Players Anthem. Yep.
And while we're sticking with groups on features, I'm going to say UGK on Big Pimpin'.
I concur. I agree.
Big Pimpin's not Big Pimpin' without UGK. And I think that's a big, big feature. And that was a big feature for Jay. And that was a big feature for them in their career and their legacy. Put a lot of people on to, these underground legends that were making a lot of noise.
See, Mike, our lists are kind of almost the same, man. When you're not trying to get the likes and subscribers, and you keeping it real and being honest, our list could be it's mostly the same.
Well, here's an iffy pick. What about Pusha T on So Appalled?
Ooh, we say 25 of all time.
Yeah,
it didn't come to my mind when I was making my list, but you can make an argument. You can make argument. How about
what about Nicki on Monster?
No. Unveil has it on his list.
Whoa, Nicki on Monster's not a top 25?
No.
I gotta ask you. We gotta poll that.
Hip hop has a great history, Mike, and I don't think that Nicki verse would make the top 25. Now, this ain't gonna ask the people. This ain't gonna make the top 25, but 50 Cent's verse. 50 Cent's verse.
Kendrick Lamar's Control verse, no.
Yes, the people understand. Yeah, the people. Okay. Yeah. So we good. So Mike, you don't have to feel the need to feed the beast, man. You don't have to put Kendrick's stuff on there if you don't feel like
asking questions, man. No, Mad Max of the super chat says Pusha. I don't like. Does Jada have a top 25 feature?
Ooh. No, but he's got some dope ones. I can't put it on the top 25. His verse on that Swiss Beat song with Ron Isley, Big Business, is crazy.
Yeah,
that's a crazy Jada verse, but I can't say it's top 25. No.
Let's see. Top 25 feature. Excuse me. I want to see what people say about this Nicki.
One verse you didn't have, Mike, that I think you should have. We gotta show some respect. God bless the dead. But I think you gotta show some love to Pun. I think his verse on John Blaze on Don Caterina, I think you can say that should be considered. That should be considered.
And I'm just being real. Like I love Pun. I thought Pun was really dope. I never thought that he had a better verse than Nas on there, personally.
Okay.
Ooh, Mad Max with the super chat. This is a very good one. Kane on Platinum Plus. This is a good one. Now, I need to go think about this one. Yeah, Kane on Platinum Plus is crazy. The Big L record that DJ Premier did, Kane went crazy on there. Wow. I didn't think about Platinum Plus.
I forgot about that one.
Andre Miller, Capadonna on Winter Wars. I got Cap on Winter Wars. Did we say that yet?
We did not say that, but
I have that here.
I have it on my list too.
I want to see what people are saying about the Nicki. They're saying no. Damn, you guys are tough. Look him on Quiet Storm remix.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I had Little Kim got 2 on my list. She got the Benjamins.
She got Benjamins on my list too.
Benjamins and Quiet Storm remix. Yeah, the people, they be roasting me in the chat, but they kind of align with me. They said that Nicki wasn't a top 25 verse. The Control wasn't a top 25 verse. Yeah, they kind of line it up with me, man.
Okay, Kim on Benjamins. I think Kim has Man, Benjamin's is the greatest posse cut of all time. I think it is one of those posse cuts that has one of the greatest beats of all time, some of the greatest featured appearances of all time, Puffy's best verse of all time. It is just a banger. And everybody brought it on there. But even with that being said, Kim has the standout verse on this outstanding record. Biggie's verse is crazy too, man. Fucking State Penn, fuck hoes in Penn State. Yeah, it's a crazy verse too. But Kim, want to rumble with the B, huh? Yeah, that
might be a top. If we were ranking this joint, I would even say she might have a top 10 feature.
I agree. Which one? Quiet Storm or Benjamin's?
Hell, she might have Quiet Storm might be 11 and Benjamin's might be 10. I don't know.
I rank Quiet Storm higher than Benjamin's, personally.
Right, from just a spitting perspective, from a bar work perspective, hell yeah. Shit. I would put Quiet Storm, but that energy on the Benjamins is like impact that shit had is just hip hop is like a Quiet Storm joint, but for the impact, you go any. I've seen it, man. I went to what's my man that does the quarantine shows.
You're talking about D Nice.
D Nice. I went to the D Nice show, and when they played that Benjamin's, people they went crazy.
Benjamin's nuts, man. And like I said, she's rapping with, she's going, with Sheik, Jada, and Big on there, and Puffy's best verse, written by Jada, by the way, and she's the one that stands out. That's saying a lot. Kendra with the super chat says, "Okay, what about Mobb Deep featuring Ghostface? Right Back at You. That's a good one too." Andre Miller with the super chat says, "Capadonna on Ice Cream." I've never heard anybody talk about Kappa on Ice Cream like that. You think Kappa got the best verse on Ice Cream?
No, I love Capadonna. I love Capadonna.
I love Kappa.
We talked about this on the Ron Van Nuys show. Capadonna's like, Ice Water. His verse on Ice Water is just one of my favorite Capadonna's verses of all time. And then you got Winter Wars. I mean, he got what's that song he did? Him, RZA, the High School High soundtrack joint.
You talking about Woo Where?
Woo Where. I mean, Kappa got a lot of heat, man, but his verse on Ice Cream is crazy too. And then his verse on Daytona 500 is crazy.
Saying I like Kappa more than I like Inspector Deck, and people think I'm crazy, but I do.
I mean, hell, if you go back and look at the best Wu-Tang verses of all time, you're gonna see Inspector on the list, but you're gonna see Capadonna on the list maybe once or twice, and that's saying something.
I think back then, Raekwon was just better than Ghost and Kappa, and I don't know, man. It's something about how Ray approached these records, man. Like, now, granted, Ghost's verse really stood out with the whole Adina Howard thing, but I think Raekwon might have the best verse on Ice Cream. I never really thought about who has the best verse on Ice Cream, really. I mean, but I might go with Ray on that one.
You know what? This might be a wild take. My uncle, Chris, he might be watching the show.
Shout out to Chris.
He was from New York. He lived in Long Island, New York for a while, came to South Carolina when he was young. So a lot of his hip hop aesthetic, he put me on a lot of these records. He put me on a Mobb Deep, Nas. He introduced me to really pretty much everything. Biggie, Jay-Z, DJ Tony Touch, Funk Flex. He was not a big Master P fan. But what surprised me was when 4321 came out, he was upset that they didn't include Master P's verse on it. He said, man, P got off on that. So that was the first time I heard my uncle, who was like a New York hip hop head, right, give P his props. And I thought P's verse, it wasn't the best verse on the record, clearly, but his verse wasn't bad on 4321.
Did they ever say why they left Master P off of 4321?
I don't know. Come on, Mike. It's time to get rowdy. They gotta why the NO getting rowdy about it. Red with the ball, certified shot callers. P's verse was good. I mean, it wasn't the best. Probably the worst verse on it, but it was a dope verse. He held
did his thing. I mean, the thing is, if they knew who he was as an MC, if they were going to do it like that, they should have just never called him to be on it. You know what I mean?
Right. And they put him on it to kind of give, he was hot at the moment. They tried to get that South a little burn, but they shouldn't have did him like that. They should have kept his verse. I can't find a version with him on it, man. I can't.
Really?
I can't find one.
The L Web with the super chat says M's verse on "Don't Push Me" is up there, in my opinion. You know what? I'm not caping or anything, but I like M's verse on Don't Push Me. These are my ideas. I like that verse. I don't know if it's top 25, but this is what I will say. Thinking about the moment, thinking about how big of a moment Get Rich or Die Trying is and what it meant at the time, and for him to deliver in the way that he did, that's something to speak of. What do you think about 50 Cent So Seductive feature on Tony Yayo?
that was on my short list. If 50 Cent back on that gangster shit,
Yeah, the hook and everything.
Yo, that's a dope. He came in that shit. He came in that shit spitting.
He did.
And I try to front on 50. They try to front on 5th. But yo, that was a dope feature. I can't say it's top 25, but it's in my top 25.
Honorable mention,
personal favorites, honorable mention to me. You know what I mean? But you know what?
Cash Show with the super chat says Pun is the only one to make Nas rewrite his verse. Pun was dope, man. The flow was crazy. Andre Miller with the super chat says Tasha on Thuggish Ruggish Bone.
You know what though? I really, as I get older, man, I got kids. I try to stay away from like those dark records that kind of got those kind of evil undertones. But to me, my favorite Eminem feature was Dead Wrong. It just was.
I mean, listen, a lot of people say that. DMX, Money, Power, and Respect. I got that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think I kind of went through my list. I said Big Pimpin' and all that stuff. So, all right, let's try to put some order to this.
Let's put some order to this list. I think all of our list was the same. Only thing, I had Canibus 4321 on there. I had you didn't have Guess Who's Back. I had Jay-Z Best of Me. You can take Best of Me off and go Crazy. That's fine. I had one that you didn't have. I had Live at the Barbecue at Canibus Beast from the East. I think you had that one.
I had
Life's a BAZ. What do you think about Pharoah Monch? Oh no.
I'm with that. I had Life's a Bitch on here too. I don't know where it went.
A lot of people sleep on that Pharoah Monch record.
Yeah. Pharoah Monch did his thing on Oh No. But see, the thing is that really a feature? Because that's kind of a collaboration album. So who's the actual feature? Is it Mos Def? Is it Nate Dogg, or is it Pharoah Monch? Because it's nobody's song. It's like it was on a Rockets album.
Right.
So yeah, all of those guys are quote unquote features on there. Does Kanye have a feature that stands out?
Wouldn't Get Far with Game would be one.
I don't think that's top 25.
No, I'm not saying. You asked me if he had one that stands out, but I mean, no. I mean, not top 25, but he has several that stand out.
Are we missing somebody in the current era? And I saw people saying Aston Martin music and things like that.
Ross, we missed a little bit of Ross. We could say Devil in a New Dress with Ross's verse on there.
I don't think that's top 25, but I do think that's important for Ross moving forward. But I mean, for y'all to say Monster's not, I mean, that can't be then.
We forgot about LL. We forgot about LL. Oh, you didn't say LL Rampage on EPMD.
How do I say this? Mad Max, don't check me. Mad Max says Rakim to watch it too. Okay. I like Rampage personally, but if we play it up against some of these other ones, I don't know if it's gonna match up. MC with a good one. He says Luda and Jada on Made You Look remix. What do you think about that? On the School of Hard Knocks, sneak peeks and low blows.
I think Jada murdered him on it, to be quite honest with you.
You know what? Speaking of Ludacris, and I got to give credit where credit's due. I don't know if it's a top 25, but in my personal opinion, Ludacris's best feature is Welcome to Atlanta.
I wasn't a big fan. I live in Atlanta, but I wasn't a big fan of the record.
I'm not a big fan of that record, but his verse, Welcome to Atlanta, jacking hammers and bows, back to the back, and I'm checking the clothes, adolescents packing the foe, and knock on the door. Who is it? I would happen to know, the one with the flow. It's me, I suppose. JD's in the rows and Luda's in the cut supreme, skating down old Nat Gap, tucked and lean. I split your spleen. As a matter of fact, I split your team. Yeah, man, he's rapping on there, man.
Yeah, he's rapping on there.
Get the cream. Cop see me flip my beans. I'm allergic to doc prescribed antihistamines. I ain't really like the oink oink pig do away with the pork thing, but but he's spitting on that, right?
Yeah, he got off on that. He got off. But if I'm ranking the I mean, Luda got off on Made You Look remix, but I still got Jada and Nas versus better. That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, I like but see, what Made You Look remix to me suffers from is the fact that the original is so great. I like the original better than the remix, personally. Kendra with the super chat says, if I should die before I wake, Biggie with Beanie Siegel and Ice Cube. Michael Williams with the super chat says, Big on Can't Stop the Rain, Victory, Flavor in Your Ear, Benjamin's, Young G's, Get Money, and Keep Your Hands High. Forgot about Keep Your Hands High. And any of those can make this list. Big's the GOAT. Big is the greatest featured artist ever. Even his verse on 112's joint was crazy.
Crazy. We forgot about Scarface's Can't Be Life.
I like Scarface's Can't Be Life a lot. I like that verse a lot. That's a great verse.
You could make an argument.
You can make an argument for that. Jeez. These lists are so hard to do. Okay, let's start at number 25. Unveil with the super chat. Shout out to Unveil. He says Cole on Johnny P's Caddy.
That's a dope verse.
All time.
But I think his verse on The Recipe is better with Yachty, and I think his verse on First Person Shooter is better. His verse on Bia, J. Cole's verse on Bia's song London is better too. So I think
his verse on Johnny P's Caddy is better than all of those. And not to slight any of those, because those are all dope verses. But I do think that J. Cole has put in the work to possibly be on a list like this. Which verse do you think of J. Cole's made more waves than Johnny P's Caddy?
First Person Shooter. He told me making waves. It did. You can deny it all you want. It did.
I want to ask the people, I want to poll the people a few things, right? First of all, I want to know if Johnny P's Caddy should be top 25. And I also want to know if First Person Shooter feature should be top 25. And looking at what has transpired over the past couple of months, maybe it should be. And I want to know if Like That should be a top 25.
No. I don't think these records should be top 25. I'm just saying Cole has some good features. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Johnny P's Caddy has enough age on it for us to consider this. I think the other ones are a little bit too new for us to talk about on an all-time level right now. So maybe just poll the Johnny P's Caddy. I could poll that. Critical Master, the super chat says, Cube on Roll Call, Ye on Put On, and 50 on How We Do. 50 went crazy on How We Do.
He did.
He really did go crazy on How We Do. I will give 50 that. I love Cube on Roll Call. That's a personal favorite of mine. Here we come, boy. Real nigga shoot to kill, better run, boy. You can tell you how I feel to the real nigga, rich nigga, go get a bitch nigga. But I don't know if it's top 25. MC with the super chat says Cole on Bola Boat is his best featured verse. Shout out to Royce 5'9". That is a great verse. Let's see. Is Johnny P's Caddy? Is Cole's verse on Johnny P's Caddy top 25? Okay, y'all said no to
they're gonna say no to this one too. And I'm a Cole guy, but they're gonna say no.
Let's see what the people say. Is J. Cole's? I promise we're gonna have a list after this.
T2 Judgment Day had a good one. We don't see eye to eye on a lot, but let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Gilly and Ness. Dr. Dre's verse on that.
I thought about that. Now, if Tupac was the feature, sure, because his verse kind of saved that record. I don't fail. He turned that song up. Like
Dre did his thing though. Dre
did okay, but when Pac comes in on that record, the volume goes up. Like it's in top. Yeah, I think that Pac could have went without Dre on there, in my opinion.
I think it complemented each other well. I think you needed Dre's verse. You needed Dre's verse to kind of unleash Tupac. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can only imagine if Tupac had 2 verses on there that you needed that dynamic. Mad Max in the super chat says, "Can't Knock the Hustle" is J. Cole's best feature. Okay. Okay, people are saying no already.
Yeah, it's no. Damn. Yeah, it's no. It's no. You should have polled it. Which verse is better, Johnny P's caddy or first person shooter? That's the question.
Okay.
Leroy Green wants to hear this list. You gonna put it in order? Leroy Green's in the building. What's up, brother?
What's up, my guy? How you doing?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
How you living?
What do you think about the list that Mike put together so far? You know, he had 85% of the records that I had, but he tried to, he's trying to get likes and subscribers, so he's playing to the Kendrick's crowd and the Eminem crowd. So he included 2 records that he personally shouldn't be even thought of in the top 50 features, but he put it on there. But
I was trying to be fair and balanced by even considering Renegade. I think Renegade's an important feature. I've been very vocal about the fact I never liked the song. I don't even think she should be on the Blueprint. But
I think Renegade was like, at the time, people were like, Jay-Z may be the best rapper. And then there was another group that was like, Eminem may be the best rapper. So when they did a song together, naturally, it created the conversation because you have 2 groups saying, this is the best rapper. No, this is the best rapper. So that's what are the verses actually as big as the hype? I don't know. But I know the conversation was big.
I think Nas is who inflated Renegade when he said Eminem murdered you on your own shit. I don't remember people talking about Renegade until Nas said that. We were talking about the Blueprint as an album. We were talking like when the Blueprint dropped September 11th. The records I remember people talking about. I remember You Don't Know. I remember Song Cry being talked about. I remember Heart of the City. I remember hearing You Don't Know and thinking this is the best beat Jay-Z's ever rhymed on. I don't even remember hearing Renegade for the first time for real.
In 2002, if you're not doing a song with Eminem, I know in 2001, if you're not doing a song with Eminem, something is wrong with you.
What? Nobody was doing songs with Eminem. What do you mean?
In 2001, Eminem is hot as fish grease outside. So if you're not doing a song with him, something's wrong.
No, Leroy, he wasn't.
That's not true. I'm not gonna let you say that, man.
He wasn't. Nobody was knocking the door. Nobody was knocking the door down.
He sold 10 million records out here.
Not in hip hop, in music. Now on a pop level, Eminem was hot like Taylor Swift is hot right now.
However you want to say it, and I want us to pick a lane. Are numbers important in debate or not important? We're gonna have to pick a side.
Well, no. They are. It depends on how you get your numbers. It's like this. Like when we talk about getting money, getting money important? Sure, but it does matter how you get your money. If you get your money as a stripper in the streets, it's not the same as getting your money as a professor. It's not. It's different. If you get your money or if you sell records because you sitting here wearing Tom Green's fake buttocks on you in your videos and you're spitting on onion rings, it's different than selling records, going out there making G thing. It is. It really is.
Yeah, Leroy. Nobody was knocking the door down for an Eminem feature. He was selling records, but it wasn't like he was sought after to make some records. He was making records with D12 and Aftermath and folks like that, but he wasn't really popping up like that.
Anybody outside in 99, 2000, and 2001, if you ain't see the wave that Eminem had out here, I don't know what you was looking at.
The wave was DMX. Now you want to talk about that person who was actually making hip hop records and selling records? That was DMX.
DMX, Eminem, 50 Cent, it's the same type of deal. What it is shock value. That is the pusher, right? Shocking. But if people say numbers don't matter, then they'd be like, DMX sold a bunch of records. So I'm confused. Do numbers
matter?
Do they not?
I'm trying to unconfuse you. It matters how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like selling records as Macklemore is different than selling records as Kendrick Lamar making Good Kid, Mad City. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why even in the Tyreek interview that
Macklemore came out the street. He's not a culture vulture. Macklemore came out the street. So what is the difference?
You said Macklemore came out the street. All right, let me get to these super chats.
Macklemore was an underground rapper like G-Eazy, who made his bones as an underground rapper. That's how what got him famous, because he paid dues, as you know. So it wasn't. Macklemore was an underground rapper. A bunch of people were underground rappers. They didn't just pop up.
You don't feel like Macklemore just popped up?
I feel like
come on, man. Because this is my thing. Just like Chance the Rapper, you come from the underground and come from the streets like that, in the grassroots like that.
Yeah,
your fan base wouldn't fall off like that. Macklemore would still be making waves. Let's look at somebody like Currency. Let's look at somebody like Wiz. These guys came up the right way. That's why they're always going to have a fan base.
The best double XL freshman right there. I'm gonna talk about it. You know, all of them make waves. A lot of them are ghostwriters now, but no.
Ghostwriters the new wave. Ain't no telling who these ghostwriters are writing for now.
If you're
your favorite rapper that's dropping 4 songs in 3 days, I'm
saying, like, you know, when someone like a Macklemore, it looks like somebody just gave him his success. The reality is, he worked for that. He worked for that. You know what I mean?
Everybody works. But some people work
to him like
different rate with different results.
But I'm tired of the picking sides of the number. Now, if it matters how you make your numbers, all of these dudes work very hard for their numbers. So it's like they're not just giving numbers. But for
Eminem, putting on pigtails and wearing a plastic butt is very hard work.
Eminem was also barring up too, though. That's what we want to negate. Eminem was in the 99, 2000, 2001. Eminem was also barring up.
He could be working at Burger King, spitting on your onion rings.
Could be.
We getting far down the Eminem.
All right, let me get to these super chats. Say this out to the super chat. Says Nip on Welcome Home. Gotta count his hook too. I love Nipsey on Welcome Home. I think that's the best feature, posthumous feature that he had, and I think the one that he had on Rick Ross's album was really dope too. American Negro News. I love the name. Says Biggie's verse on Can't Stop the Rain on Shaquille O'Neal's album. Yes. Let's do that. Is it okay to put Can't Stop the Rain at number 25 then?
No.
What?
I'm not mad though, but you got your shit map tight, brass knuckles and flashlights, the heatas, the 2 Citas, 2 mitas, senoritas, kiss rings when they meet us. P. Diddy from the city, show no pity. I'm the witty one, Frank the crook from the bit, mad from the brook, mad I broke the neck on your coat connect. No,
time out. He said Maddie broke the neck of your coat connect. Maddie is the one that wrote the whole the unsigned hype article in The Source. He said, man, Maddie got me out of here, man. Maddie broke the neck of your coat connect. Jesus, man.
Shots to all shootouts for 20 minutes until we're finished. Come on, Biggie at this time.
No, I'm putting Victory on here too.
Yeah, Biggie at this time, he's getting death threats for real. He's in LA. He knows he's about to die. He's 24. He's standing on his square in the midst of about to be killed, and he delivers that verse. That's one of the hardest things I've ever heard or seen.
Yeah. I agree with that.
He knows he's going to die.
Difficulty extremely high.
He knows he's going to die. You know what I mean? And he's
I don't know about all that, but he knows
it's the potentiality for him being killed is high, is very high. So I'll say that. You can
see it in his face in the photos that they have of that last night, man. He looks worried.
Right. Yeah, you got to be worried. You got to
look like he was having fun. You know what I'm saying? Like he did.
In an enemy city where you got beef on that magnitude, you got to be worried.
They should have went to London and did a show, man. Puff, man. That's another day, another topic, man. We got Super Duper in the building, man, here as well. Super.
What's happening, y'all? What's going on? What's really good, fellas?
I know you've been listening to the list that Mike has put together. Now we're trying to rank it right now. Before we get into that, what were your initial thoughts of the list?
I mean, it's the typical list, man. It's a little East Coast bias, a little traditional list. It's all good, though. It's all good. But listen.
No. Add your flavor to it, man. What are some things that should be on there?
I mean, I made a list, right? But I made my list knowing that y'all was gonna make the traditional list. But listen. If we're gonna make a list on best features of all time, 25, top 10, whatever, right?
Right.
We can't make this list without putting Nate Dogg and Regulate on there. I don't care if he was singing or not. That's still rap, man. Nate Dogg, Regulate. That's definitely a top 10 feature of all time.
Okay. I can go with that. I could go with that. B Moolah with the super chat says Big Pun on Off the Books is crazy. I agree. The beat on Off the Books is crazy too. Mad Max with the super chat says, yeah, Nas was lying heavy. Hove had better verses. I guess he's talking about on Renegade. Let's see. Yeah, I like the Regulate pick, and I think Regulate should actually be on there.
If that's the case, though, that Bone Thugs though on it's Bone and Biggie, we go.
Yeah. I got Notorious Thugs on my list, man. Like I said, my list seems to be very Biggie heavy, and I didn't realize how crazy. Even though that's Biggie's song and that's not really his feature, but Biggie's feature game is insane.
I mean, it's a couple honorable mentions that we could give up there too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, even the Master P verse from How You Do That there. I know people don't like Master P how he rap like that, but that verse on How You Do That there is crazy, man. We can't hate on that, and it's one of them songs that you can put on anywhere at any party, and it's still gonna go up. Everybody know the words to it. It's just one of them verses that's to me it's classic. Like it's classic.
I like this list already, Super. I like this list.
Kendra with the super chat says, okay, you might say nah, but Remy Ma's verse on Annie Up remix. I like that.
I like that, Kendra. That's a good verse.
Nicki Minaj on Monster, y'all tripping, man. That may be one of the most animated verses ever.
Okay, go ahead and fight for Monster real quick. You think Monster's top 25?
I'm saying as far as delivery goes, right? She's switching her flow every 2 bars and switching her personalities, showing all the different personalities to herself. That in itself is, and she had to prove in that moment because that feature was huge. The Kanye feature at that moment for her career was huge, and she went insane.
It's her breakthrough moment. And
insane.
I think the breakthrough moments are important. That's one of the reasons why I actually had that verse on there. But I guess the people said no. I'm gonna have to disagree with the people on that, man. I'm gonna release the full list after the show. I have to keep Monster on there. But what I will consider, is how people don't feel like it should be on there. So it would be very high on the list as far as close to 25, but. It's I'm surprised at you guys, man. I thought people loved the Monster verse.
Super, what else you got on your list, brother?
Honorable mention list. So this is not my top 25. This is not I know those, the ones that y'all got, they more historically greater or whatever you want to say, you know what I'm saying? But I got Too Short on that Lil Jon and Eastside Boys. Couldn't be a better player than me.
That's a good one. I can give hands in your light skinned bitch. Yay.
Okay.
Hey, another slept on verse, even though the song is trash, is Benny Siegel verse on Do It Again. I don't like the rest. I don't like Jay. I don't like Emil on there, but I cut the song off after Benny Siegel verse.
Nah, I really disagree with you on that. I love that record. Jay killed that shit, man. Jay killed that shit.
Jay murdered that.
Jay murdered that one.
I think Beans had the best verse on there, though.
Beans did his thing. Again, that's a breakthrough verse for him, too, where it's like, okay, Beans got off.
We got the
on sipping on some scissor. I saw that in the
that's on my I got that on my list, but I don't know where to put it at. So I mean, because Pimp C, I like Pimp C break them off some verse a little bit harder than that too.
I was just about to say, if I went with a Pimp C feature, it wouldn't be that. That would be more of a Bun B, because I think Bun B did his thing on there. If I went with a Pimp C feature, man, it might be Like a Pimp remix, the 3 6 Mafia. Smoking on some Dro, Young J.I. Ewing, pimping for my paper, and I'm looking for the chewing.
We said Twista too, but Twista on the Kanye song on College Dropout.
That's a good one. I didn't think about that. Twista could have 2 on here legit. I think Twista's appearance on Slow Jams, very special.
Hey, what about I mean, I know we got the usual suspects for Snoop, man, but what about Lil Ghetto Boy and Bitches Ain't Shit? I mean, them two classic verses from Snoop.
It really is.
You know.
B Moolah with the super chat says Corrupt on Doggy Dog World.
Hey, that's on my list.
What about Corrupt on Explosive? Sure.
I think Corrupt got the best verse on Doggy Dog World for sure. You know, he got the standout verse on there. So I mean that's on my list as I'm looking at it right now. That was the next thing I was gonna say.
Okay.
So I agree with him as far as, like I said, just slept on. Like I said, this is the honorable mention list that I got here.
What do you guys think about Eazy-E on For the Love of Money?
I like that verse. I like that verse. I like that one. What about Twista on Is That Your Chick?
Is That Your Chick? Jay also went insane.
Is Jay a feature on there, or is that his song originally?
I don't know, but people knew it was about to be war after that verse.
Yeah, I think Twista verse on Is This the End better though.
I can see that too.
I like that verse.
Twista has a great feature catalog.
Another one. I mean, I say Jadakiss on Run with Ghost.
I remember that.
I like that.
Yeah, I like
did his thing on there. It's hard when you feature on a Wu-Tang joint though, man, because they have so many inside features in themselves within the crew that's tough to match.
Right. Is that a Bleak song? In the comments, yes, it was a Bleak song. But go ahead.
I got Ghostface on Special Delivery remix as an honorable mention.
I didn't love his verse on there. I loved Keith Murray's verse on there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. That was a hard decision, but I like Ghost verse a little bit better. I got Prodigy on Live Nigga Rap.
Whoo!
Okay, Super, you cooking, bro.
Live Nigga Rap's my shit.
You got some good ones, bro.
Now my problem with Live Nigga Rap and Prodigy would be the fact that Nas took off on there, man.
I mean, he took off, but is it better than Prodigy verse? Prodigy got the hook too.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. Like I said, I mean that's one of them times where I think Prodigy might have got Nas on the track right there. I love Nas verse too. I do love Nas verse, but you know, just because Prodigy did the hook and he set the song off,
he did.
You know, and then when I really want to hear that song, I Prodigy voice just stuck in my head. So, you know, every now and then I wake up in the morning, I just want to hear that song, and it's really because of Prodigy for me.
Is Method Man the What? Should that be on here too?
I can see the argument, but you know, I can see the argument though. It's Biggie.
I made my list not counting anything. I mean, not that song specifically, but I didn't count like you know, like Winter Wars or anything where like the Wu-Tang was together and like, you know, like they was featured on the song together. Because to me, they still Wu-Tang Clan. Even like Capadonna. Capadonna might not be, I guess official, but he's still Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? So I really.
Man and Biggie joint.
No. I said I'm not talking about that, but yeah, I mean, I can't say one of the greatest. You know, that's neither here nor there though. I ain't gonna argue with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, mystical move, bitch, get out the way.
When I thought about that record, it made me think: is Method Man's feature on the What better than Jay-Z's feature on Big's I Love the Dough? Like if I had to pick a Big feature or somebody who was featured with Big, or even throwing Brooklyn's Finest in there too.
I like I Love the Dough and the song better than both of those songs.
Okay.
It's the beat. It's the beat. On top of that, it's the mafioso aesthetic, the beat, and the bad boy aura all around that song at one time. And it's Big and Jay. And it's Jay's like, now you have to prove yourself moment, because now you're on the beat with Biggie on Puff's biggest album. Or no, on Biggie's biggest album. You know what I'm saying?
I got Brooklyn's Finest and I Love the Dough over the what?
Okay.
I just that. I mean,
I do too.
Brian with the super chat says, "Does Tupac on Smile count?"
Yeah,
came out after he died, but that's always been one of my personal favorite feature verses.
Yeah, that was on the list.
Tupac got plenty of them though, really.
Inspector on I Got My Mind Made Up, but Pac was hating. Okay. Darius Campbell, the super chat says, Andre 3000, I do. Go ahead.
Hey, going back to that conversation we was having yesterday about Pac, if you listen to I Got My Mind Made Up, that's kind of Pac doing his lyrical miracle kind of flow, really. When you go back and listen to that verse, Pac is, he's spitting like lyrical miracle style, really, if you want to say it. That's what I would call it for Tupac. That's his lyrical miracle way of just,
That was the approach.
Being lyrical miracle.
And I think in that approach, in my personal opinion, Corrupt got off. Redman did his thing too. But Method Man had the best verse on Got My Mind.
He had the best verse on there. I agree.
He sounded like the best rapper on there in that chamber. He was just... Method Man's a tough matchup in any type of featured situation. Y'all remember that Boyz II Men Vibin' remix where they had Tretch, Craig Mack, Method Man, and Busta Rhymes? At that time, Busta Rhymes was closing out every song because he had that crazy flow, crazy style, and voice. And Method Man was able to go behind him and clean up. That's how dope Method Man was at that time.
Hey, yo, but chamber does matter, Mike, and because you mentioned Biggie, and not to take nothing from Biggie, but a lot his features is coming out of his crew. So it's Puff and the Hitmen on the beat. It's the group signed to Bad Boy, and it's Big. That takes nothing away from Big, but the chamber, the whole song is crafted around what Big can do. So that's going to make him sound even better. It's not like he's recording with people that's not from his crew.
Well, I got some examples. Put Your Hands High. B-side with the Brat. I don't feel like, because Clark Kent, that was Get Money and Players Anthem and stuff like that. That wasn't really the Bad Boy chamber per se. Everything the Big was on, he was just murdering. Dolly Baby. It didn't really matter what he was on. He was killing it.
He's still big, so he gonna rap. You know what I mean? He's still big.
I got another verse too that slept all hard.
Okay.
Damian Marley verse on Patience.
That was a dope verse.
That was a dope verse.
He killed Nas on that. He killed Nas on that track.
He killed Nas on the album, period.
No, definitely on that. He did. I agree with you too. I agree with you when you say that. But
was more Damian Marley's lane. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't really Nas's pocket. So we can't expect Nas to come in that world and dictate the whole sound and direction of that pairing. But
you gotta be careful. You know what I mean?
Nah, he ain't gotta be careful. I mean, it's just
Jay Electronica world. Jay could have got smoked going into Jay Electronica world. So you gotta be careful.
Hey, speaking on Jay Electronica. Speaking on Jay Electronica, I got Jay Electronica on Jesus Lord off of that Donda.
That was a great verse. Shelf with the super chat says, what are Nas's top 10 greatest songs of all time? Oh man, that's such a loaded question.
We got a couple episodes. We got that on it. On it.
Yeah, we'll put the link up. B Moolah with the super chat says, what is it? HM Noy, Give Up the Goods. Yeah, I fuck with Noy, don't give up the goods. He did his thing. Mad Max in the super chat says, Biggie carry the what? He ain't carry Hov. Y'all think Biggie carried the what? That was a different Biggie though. That was like he said, I was grimy in the early 90s. That was grimy Big, whereas Brooklyn's Finest and I Love the Dough was more polished Big. But again, it just shows you how quickly he was growing as an artist, and it was amazing, man. Like to see, and when you think about you doing something like that in a 2-3 year span, amazing.
What about Black Thought with Crowns for Kings off the plugs I met?
That verse is crazy. I don't know if it's top 25.
No, I'm not. Like I said, this ain't the top 25.
Okay.
Like I said, this just honorable mentions. This just some honorable, arguable mentions. That's all. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to take some of them Biggie tracks out, we can replace them with some of these. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a hard time picking between just listening to Biggie. Like I had a hard time picking which one was better than the next one, really, honestly. Like he got so many fire ones. And it really ain't, it's almost not fair to the list to have Biggie on here. Because you can have Biggie, to me, you can have Biggie, Pac, you can have them on here at least probably 5-6 times if you really wanted to, honestly.
Now, as great as Pac was, though, I don't feel like Pac's feature game was like where Biggie's was. Like Pac really made his own stuff, you know what I'm saying? Whereas Biggie did a lot of collaborating. I guess that's what the whole Bad Boy, system was like. And he was the core of that system. So whenever they needed to launch an act, let's get a verse from Big. And I don't think that Pac really, other than the MC Breed feature, which is incredible, and the Scarface feature, I'm trying to think of what Pac feature would really belong. Because as much as I like Thug Love from Bone, I don't think it's,
I mean, I agree when you say that, but he do got I Gotta Get Mine.
Yeah.
He got Jealous Got Me Strapped with Spice One. I mean, I wouldn't put it up there like that though. I'm not gonna say it's top 25, but he got, probably got a lot, man. He got a lot. If you really go back and dig through it, he got a lot.
Armand with the super chat says, "Peace, Leroy. Where those 1,000 Jay-Z songs at? You want to respond to that?"
I stopped counting at like 600 and something. So if there's anybody with more than that,
wait a minute. You got to 600 and something?
Yeah.
What songs are you counting? With all these features, he should have like 20 on the list.
Well, I don't know what people was like. Oh yeah, I must be making that up. I don't know, man. Maybe I gotta fax y'all like the paper I'm looking at so you can see the titles so you believe that these songs actually exist. By the time I got to the end of Magna Carta, I forgot that I didn't count Watch the Throne.
I gotta say that's some dedication, Leroy. You counted 636 songs
after 2008 features. So everything after 2008 is not even counted. By that time I was at like 505. But then so that's enough, man. He got more than enough.
Kendra with the super chat says both Ghostface and Ray's verse on Daytona 500. Well, yeah, Ray would technically be a feature on there, I guess. Let me ask this, guys, and I want to ask the people in the room too. Are there some current, and when I say current, hip hop over the past 10, 15 years, features that we're missing when we talk about this list?
I'll give you one.
Mr. T and Saha and Soul Paul.
I'll give you one. Killer Mike on Kill Jill.
Let's see.
His verse was fire on that.
And I didn't have to count. It was all written down, folks. I told y'all the article.
What do you guys think about J-Rock on Money Trees?
That's one that can go up there.
Notable record.
Andre 3000 on Life of the Party.
It's a good verse.
You can say Wayne. I agree. Wayne never die. I like that verse. Y'all, I don't know why y'all be fronting on Wayne, man. I don't know why. This Wayne hate is crazy. Wayne got some fire verses.
Black Thought on Crowns for Kings on plugs I met. That's within the last 10 years.
Yeah, Black Thought. Crowns for Kings, but he's still an artist from the 90s. I guess what I'm thinking is like, are there some newer guys that we're missing? And because I don't want to slight anybody here. I mean, does Drake have a top 25? Does Kendrick have a top 25?
It's a different era, man. It's a different.
I mean, if we gonna count now, then you got to say Like That. Then we can put Like That in here if we gonna.
I'm cool with putting that at like the top of the list or something like that. But you guys are giving me some good insight. Kendra with the super chat says Conway and Joey Badass, Vernito. Now, I personally think Conway on the cow. That's a great feature. Right. And everybody's quiet.
No, it was a great feature.
You heard crickets. You heard crickets.
Yeah. Oh man, I you know what? I'm putting that as an honorable mention. I'm sorry, Conway the cow. That's an incredible verse. Incredible.
You know, people want the link, man. They want to chime in before we, they want to give they 2 cents or whatever, man. So I dropped the link in there. We got who's
well, before we get people in here, did y'all see that XXL cover?
Come through, but watch your mouth.
Y'all see that freshman cover?
Yeah. Yep. And I don't understand it, man. I need double XL again. My favorite cover. This is my, whatever. What year is this? 2009. Y'all need to pick, I don't know these artists. Maybe people in the chat, y'all put me up on these artists. I recognize some of their faces. I recognize some of their names. But what I mean is like song-wise, I don't know their songs like that.
I know.
I haven't had the chance to see it.
Cash Cobain, Scarlett, Cash Cobain. I knew what's the other brother name? What's his name? The plug, Huncho. Yeah, I know them dudes.
Big X the plug is all right.
I gotta do some more knowledge before I kind of cook up on them. I might kind of revisit this in the next show. But I know a couple of these cats.
Yeah. Scarlett, I know. She definitely gets a lot of push or whatnot. But I guess the question is it a problem that we don't know them yet? Is this cover supposed to be somebody or full of artists that are kind of bubbling that we already have heard something from? Or is this cover for people who are about to make their splash?
They're about to make a splash.
So that's in position to make their splash. However, the chances of you actually making a splash, even with everything in your favor in this era, is probably 1%. So it's like, what do these artists represent? Is it just they just rap? Like, do they have a marathon? Do they have a Jets? Like, what do they represent?
Is this the platform for new artists to be able to build their fan base on? Because Jermaine Dupri said something I thought was interesting. This weekend in Atlanta, we had Birthday Bash, right? And it reminded me of the whole Method Man statement. And radio has this issue with their concerts. And for the people who don't know, Birthday Bash is basically Atlanta's version of Hot 97 Summer Jam, 107.9 here in Atlanta. And Jermaine Dupri said, let me find his quote.
What are their demographics?
Radio. Oh, this is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a question. If kids from 16 to 30 are not listening to radio, how does Hot 107.9 Birthday Bash sell out? And please don't say social media. I guess he's inferring that it's not true that 16 to 30-year-olds don't listen to radio, but they don't.
Well, do or don't, we're basing decisions now off people listening to the radio. I get the theory, but that's just a
I mean, these radio shows that don't have the same pull. I mean, the reason why it's social media that's driving these radio shows. Who knows if they're really selling out? They're probably giving a lot of these tickets away. A lot of this stuff is coming from the sponsors. I don't know the numbers the radio is doing, but it's not like, I mean, we're far removed from 20 years removed from that scene, but you can still sense the energy in the city. I don't think, people are really, interested in Birthday Bash. There used to be a lot of different things. There used to be for Sisters Only in Atlanta. That kind of fizzled out. There used to be the car show, V103 car show. I think Ross kind of took that over. Then there was a Hot 97, 107.9 Summer Jam, but hey man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I saw a clip that was very interesting, right? It was this young lady who was TikToking from Birthday Bash, and Killer Mike was performing Kryptonite, And the young girls is like, who the fuck is this? Where Lotto at?
Right.
They don't know.
Hey, can y'all read who on that freshman list all the way off? Like,
yeah. I can read off the people. Tater Tots with the super chat says, Mike, Nip on Welcome Home was 2019 and belongs in the top 25. I'm with it. I like it. I'll read off who was on there, but I think Killer Mike had a Method Man moment, and I don't know what to say. I feel like I get it. Killer Mike and the Dungeon Family, I think they went out there and performed the birthday bash and did it for the city. But you got to understand that this audience is 16 to 30 years old, right? And really, I don't even think that 30, because at 30, I was not going to birthday bash anymore. I wasn't even in my mindset. I would say this audience is probably 14 to 22, 23 at most. And when did Kryptonite come out, Ron? That's like 20-something years ago, right?
Yeah, that was a minute ago.
Yeah, it might have been 20 years ago. So you're talking about now you're performing a song where the people in the audience weren't even alive when it was popping. And again, it's no disrespect, but the kids are like, why are you here? Same thing I said about the Method Man thing.
Hold on, Mike.
Like, this is just not your crowd to be performing for. And that's the crowd that radio does concerts for. But I guess the reason why that happens is because those are the people that are still in the label system. Now, I guess what Jermaine is inferring is it's not true that the 16 to 30-year-old crowd's not listening to the radio, but I'm willing to bet you that 80% of those people that were in that arena that were going there to see that concert and they probably follow Lotto or whoever else that was performing on Birthday Bash don't listen to the radio.
But
going to a concert.
My whole thing is if they show up, Lotto's fans show up, and they don't know who Killer Mike is, that makes sense because you're not supposed to know.
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to know who Lotto is because that makes sense. Like, do these people know that there's a gap in generation? So with that being said, why don't we have different demographics show up so people could see something new? Like, you're not supposed to go to a show and know everybody on stage. It's supposed to be people that you don't know so you could get familiar.
Well, I think the problem is with a lot of hip hop audiences, and I'm just going to be honest, especially the radio audience, they're not trying to be new artists, and they're not trying to take in up and coming performers. They came to see who they came to see, and that was like. And if you don't believe me, any person who's ever gone out there and tried to break in the hip hop sphere or on stage or perform at some of these events, if you're performing at a mainstream event, they're going to look at you like you're crazy if you're not with one of the people they came to see, or if you're not one of the people they came to see. But that's why I think it's messed up with, when we did have South by Southwest and you did have those events that were catered to people discovering new artists got taken over by the big time artists. You know what I mean? And now the new artists don't really have a place to go to get new fans. And back to this XXL cover, that's not the place, in my opinion, for new artists to be able to galvanize a new audience, because they get stereotyped by just being on the freshman cover.
No, the freshman cover is supposed to be for those that have kind of already galvanized a little bit of a following, though. So
they're trying to get more, though.
They're not like coming in cold turkey, but like if they had a Currency show up at a Lotto show, the Lotto fans are not supposed to know who Currency is. When they get there and they see everybody throwing up jets, or they see a bunch of people throwing up jet signs, then it dawns on them like, oh, he is somebody. That's what's supposed to happen. Like,
hey, but let's just keep it real, man. Magazine covers is just as dead as the radio. So,
yep.
I mean, like, what? I mean, I guess like these, the people that made the cover, they must have some type of little buzz that's going on, and they newer to the game. They might have been out for a year or so, or got a little bit of a following, and they ain't hit the mainstream yet. But I mean, magazines are just as dead as radio.
Let me read off the people like you said, Super Duper. So this is who we got on the freshman cover. We got Lay Banks. We got
trash.
Yeah, Maya the Don.
Trash.
You got Big X the Plug.
Trash.
He nice though. Big X the plug is all right.
I like Big X.
Okay. Honcho.
He cool.
Trash.
Skilla Baby.
Trash.
Cash Cobain.
Yeah.
Trash. He's super
trash too. He trash.
That Mexican OT.
Nah, he all right.
Trash.
Yeah. He all right, man. Okay. No, he all right. He is actually all right. He all right.
Rich Amari.
Trash.
Boss D-Lo.
Yeah, okay. Boss Man D-Lo is nice too.
He's okay.
Boss Man D-Lo is all right. He trash in the traditional sense, Mad Max. If you know, if you trying to compare him to Jay or Kendrick or something like that, but for this new swag rap or this little new young kid shit, he all right. He spit a little bit. He all right.
All right, 4 Bats.
Trash. They don't even know if that's him for real. Like they think that he AI or like.
I think 4 Bats is an AI robot. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, they think he a robot. Yeah, they don't even know if he real or not. It's a mystery behind him.
He's like a new Bone Thugs and Nate Dogg. He's like some bastardized version of them.
He don't look like he sound. So when you look at him, he just don't look like he sound.
He's an R&B thug dude. I don't even understand that.
Okay, we got Mad Max in the building. So Mad Max, you are part of the younger demographic, and every person that I rattled off, you said trash. What do you think about? Obviously, it's clear what you think about this cover, but why are you saying all of these individuals are trash? And do you not see any promise in any of them?
Well, I'll say this: Scarlett got promise. I like Scarlett. She got charisma. I don't like that new joint she put out where she was trying to shake. I don't like that one. But she got some talent. She remind me of like a female DMX.
You just on some New York bias, man. She alright, man, but she kind of a little bit too hard for her own good, to be honest with
you. She's okay. I like. She got promise.
Do this real quick, guys. Different demographics. Blue is basically the walking version of whose world is this? If you heard on Nas album, Whose World Is This? Blue.
Come on, man, stop that.
Blue is the walking version of that song.
I thought you were
Blue was kind of nice.
Look up Blue's discography and listen first.
Yeah, Blue's nice.
That's his own thing.
You know who Blue is to me? He is this era CL Smooth.
He had his own thing. All these artists had their own demographic. They're not the same. Then they all bring something different. We are not supposed to be talking to the same people.
Yeah, but all artists have a different demographic. I mean,
are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, but the great ones have their demographic, and then they go into other demographics.
Right.
Jay-Z has his demographic of the hustler talk. That he can still go into other demographics who like Jay-Z. Same with Nas, same with Big. Like the nice ones
grew their audience, and I think that's a really good point, Mad Max. Do you think that any of these artists have the potential to actually grow their audience?
I don't think so. Honestly, I think they all like artists of the time. So as soon as they sound get played out, they'll be played out too. They don't seem like the type of artist that's going to grow.
They need to play out Cash Cobain now.
Y'all seem very familiar with a lot of the people that are on this cover. Do y'all have any predictions of who may blow up on this cover? You think that nobody is? Like if you had to pick one or two individuals that could possibly be stars in this game, who are you going to pick from this cover?
Nobody, man. This is the dark side. This is the dark side of technical rap. I call it analytics rap.
I was asking Super and Mad Max because they seem very familiar with these guys.
I'll be. Go ahead, Max. Go ahead.
You see, but the thing is, the guy I think who could blow up the most, I hate the most, and that's Cash Cobain. I can't stand him. That sexy drill, he's ruining New York with it. I can't stand it. Pissing me off with that. He need to go.
What is that? What is that? Sexy drill. What the hell is that?
Sexy drill, Ron, is they take the UK drill beat and they soften it up with pseudo R&B and Afro beat babble. It's just to me it's their little vibey drill music. And
the ladies like it. The ladies like it.
The ladies love it. So I gotta love it, but I hate it.
but at the same time, you know, the ones I would pick, because my son a big fan of Boss Man D-Lo, but I don't know if he has the capability. Like a lot of his, like for me, when I listen to him, he got some songs that's all right, but most of his songs sound the same. But if I had to pick the one, go ahead.
I think Boss Man D-Lo kind of reminds me of that kid who's the one with Dirk who made Taking Him. I Get It Back in Blood. What was this? The one that from Memphis.
I know you're talking about.
I know you're talking about too.
That's the type of rapper he reminds me of. I don't think he gonna last.
Right?
Yeah, Pooh Shiesty.
Yeah, Pooh Shiesty. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
But if anybody that I think that's gonna blow up, because he got a little bit of buzz, and you hear his songs on the radio a little bit, is Four Bats. And just because, like, you know, it's the mystery behind him, so he got that mystery, that mysteriousness behind him, and the females like his songs because he kind of like got that. Man, Mike, if you got a computer, just Google what he even looked like, and then if you never hear him, he sound like a female almost, but like almost Dage Lofish or like something like that. Like he got like a voice like a little girl, like a little teenage girl, really.
What's up with the Mexican OT?
He sings about
is Mexican OT from Cali? He from Texas? Where Mexican OT from?
I look like Texas.
Houston, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Texas.
Look, man. On a side note, motherfuckers talking crazy in this motherfucker, man. Show your face. Get on the link and show your face. Quit playing.
What are you talking about?
Quit playing with me. When you come in this chat, talk like you got some sense, man. I'm not no internet nigga, man. I'm tired of playing with y'all, man. I've been nice for a long time. I'm not playing with nobody in this space, in the podcast space, in the chat, or nobody. I'll see you in real life, and I'll take care of you. Show your
Leroy, just embrace your role as a supervillain, man, and be, you know, take the hate, man.
West Coast out of Leroy. Oh my God.
Just embrace your role, man, as a supervillain.
Let's just say this. We got a space where we have opinions, we agree, we disagree, but the whole purpose of this platform is to have meaningful conversations. So ain't nobody really trying to pull up and do none of that, man. We grown, man. We do all that. But let's keep it respectful in the chat. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get some sponsors, right? So if I have my sponsors watching tonight and we trying to get a damn bag, we're gonna be fucked up, and it's gonna mess up with my kids. You know what I'm saying? So let's be cool in the chat. Let's engage in some meaningful conversations and push the conversation forward. That's all, man. But y'all I can't be messing with the bag, man. Let's just chill.
Everybody got to be respectful.
Respect me, I'll respect you, but stop with all that. It's been weeks of that, man. And it should.
I gotta buy my son a bicycle, man. Y'all fucking it up, man. Y'all chill with all that dumb shit, man. For real.
But back to what we was talking about, y'all. BX the Plug got a couple songs that's all right. Boss Man D-Lo got a song or two that's, you know, catchy, and, you know, like you'll hear him in the club or hear him while you out. And that Four Bats dude, like I said, I mean, I know a lot of females love him. My daughters like him. So I mean, I would say those three guys off of that, and then maybe that OT the Mexican guy, because he got that Mexican clientele that love him, and he's not that bad. He's not that bad. He's not that bad, really.
You know who's nice, but I don't know if she's hip hop though. Mos Def's daughter. She's alright. I ain't gonna lie.
Really?
She's actually kind of alright. I ain't gonna lie. And you know I don't like doing that. I don't like hyping people up. She's kind of nice. She's kind of okay.
Okay. She must be really fine.
How many freshmen are on the cover? Is it 10 people there, or how many people is there? Because I think, you know, respectfully, picking 10 new people every year, and 10 new people are supposed to be hot every year, that's asking a lot. Like, and I've always thought that. You know, I've always thought that.
I got a question, Mike, Leroy, Super Duper, Mad Max. What was the last? Maybe was it Lotto? Who was the last freshman cover person? Maybe I'm late. Maybe it was somebody from last year. Who was the last freshman cover person to blow?
Well, let's look at the freshman cover from last year and see who was successful.
2023 freshman.
Lola Brooks was. So last year's cover had, Finesse Two Times is on there.
I think the only cover, I think the last cover that was dope or had dope artists with some talent was that 21 Savage, Kodak Black.
Oh, you
Lil
going all the way
Uzi.
back? That was like
That's the last one that I actually remember. That's the last one I remember.
2010 had J. Cole, Nipsey, Big Sean, Wiz Khalifa, J. Rock, Freddie Gibbs. 2010 had some hitters on it.
Oh, 10 was great. I'm going back and trying to find the most recent one that, because 2022 they had Baby Tron, Saucy Santana, Babyface Ray, Ken the Man, Sofuego, Big Scar, Big 30, KC. Yeah, man. In a minute, and they had Nardo Wick. In a minute, they might stop doing this, man.
My kids was they was big Baby Tron fans. You know, he from Detroit, so I mean, my kids was into Baby Tron pretty big for a little minute. I haven't heard them like playing nothing recently from him, but they was fans with Baby Tron for a little while.
Well, 2021 had Flo Milli, Coi Leray, had Pooh Shiesty, Ruby Rose is on there, 42 Doug, Moray, DDG. So I guess you could say 2021 probably had the most notable ones, but even that, like,
they not really notable, Mike. Come on.
Yeah, I know they're not. I mean, 2020 had NLE Chopper, Lil TJ, excuse me,
Megan the Baby,
Warren, Mulatto when she was Mulatto, Rod Wave, Jack Harlow.
Hey, but Rod Wave he a superstar though.
Yeah, so I think 2020 might be the last one. I mean, Lotto is too. When you got Lotto, Rod Wave, Jack Harlow, Baby King.
Is Lotto really a superstar?
I don't know about Lotto, but Rod Wave selling out stadiums. He sold out the whole.
Rod Wave definitely a superstar. All my young boys, they always tell me about Rod Wave. I be like, I don't know how y'all listen to that.
I don't.
Lotto not a superstar. Okay.
I don't know about superstars anymore because when we say somewhere where is a superstar, we're talking about people with access to $1 million budgets. That's the definition of superstar now. It's not.
I'm only saying this because this, like I said, I witnessed. Rod Wave sold out the Pfizer Forum. That's where the Bucks play. He sold that out pretty much, headlining it by himself. He sold it out.
And Rod Wave can put out a project that will sell over 100K at least at that time.
That's fine.
Lotto can't do that. I mean, come on. Mike.
What about 2019? All right, 2019 we have the Baby, we have Megan Thee Stallion, we got Gunna, Rico Nasty, Roddy Ricch, Tierra Whack, Blueface. Yeah,
I think disappointment. That's a disappointment class, Mike. Let's be for real.
To a certain extent, because you got YK Osiris too.
Roddy Ricch was supposed to take out over the West after Kendrick. He's poop. Come on.
The Baby kind of,
he fell off.
Yeah, I hate to say it like that, but yeah. Gunna though, and Megan Thee Stallion.
See, but to me, Meg she's holding on to Glow. To me, she's hanging on to Glow too much. I think Glow is the lit one, and Meg is kind of trying to stay afloat. Now, really? Gunna, I give respect to Gunna. He was a quote unquote rat, and he made hits. I can't front. The kid's good in my book. He's good.
He used his talent. Right. Drake needs to use Gunna as an example. Yeah, man, these covers have actually been bad for a while, and like you said,
media. Drake didn't need to do no media because his songs was that moving that much that he could have just skipped Double XL, which I think he did. You know what I mean? So
no, I was just saying as far as what Gunna did, as far as everybody turning their back on him just making some dope music by himself. Drake needs to do that right now.
And how did Gunna even make that list? He was out for like 5 years prior to that.
Right.
Or like at least 3. Come on. He's not a freshman.
Well, it's hard to really constitute who's a freshman anymore as well, because just about everybody, has a resume to a certain degree now. Nobody's just kind of just coming off the couch and, jumping in the game. If you have fans, you've put in some work.
To me, a freshman, right, They should do it like, I guess I'll use Kendrick, right? When he had like overly dedicated Section 80, he's bubbling, but he's not really a freshman until Good Kid, Mad City comes out. Like that was supposed to be his debut album. I don't know. They lied and switched it up with Section 80. I don't know what about that, but
they did switch it up because they used to call Section 80 a mixtape, and then somewhere down the line, you know,
it was a mixtape.
I think Section 80 came out of his pocket.
So to me, a freshman class is like Kendrick and A$AP Rocky, because I know they put their albums out, I think the same year or around the same year. To me, that's like you're in the same class. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, the 2011 freshman class was Meek Mill, Big Crit, Sci-Hi the Prince, Lil Twist, Yellow Wolf, Fred the Godson, rest in peace, Mac Miller, YG, Lil B, Kendrick Lamar, and Diggy Simpson. So I'm sorry. Simmons, Diggy Simpson, Diggy Simmons.
My son, my white boy in there, the best white boy rap I ever heard.
Mac Miller.
That's my guy. Mike.
I can agree with you on that. He actually rhymed over DJ Premier produced beats.
Mac rhymed over all the great producers' beats. He went out and rhymed over their beats first, like freestyles. He was just getting their beats off the internet, but he was a real head. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, and
Meek Mill had a career. Big Crit had a career. Sci-Hi, he had a career. Lil Twist, Yellow Wolf had a career. Fred the Godson did too. Mac Miller, YG. Lil B is a legend in many people's eyes. Kendrick Lamar, obviously, and Diggy Simmons. But
Mike, to your feature thing, if we were talking about a new feature,
I
have to give it to Crit on that One Train. I don't think One Train's amazing, but he did kind of body that. I gotta give Crit that.
I do think One Train should get consideration because it had everybody on it too, and he closed it out.
K-Dot got up on One Train. A$AP, I think A$AP's verse was crazy. Joey got off on One Train. Yellow got off on One Train. But Big Chris verse, and they gave him the last verse for a reason. He got off.
He is the most underrated artist of his era.
Not to change the subject, man, but I had to, when I was saying about Lil Kim, it just made me think about Mia X, man. Like, we don't give enough respect to Mia X.
I thought about that the other day, man.
We really don't.
I'm about it. And she killed that shit.
Well, she on that the Foxy Brown album? Because I think I just heard her.
Yeah. She was on one of them. She was on one of them songs. I can't remember.
Oh, I thought she's not on what's that song on China Dog? That I'm that B word. I'm that B. What's that song?
Yeah.
That song is actually fire. That song is actually fire. I can't lie to you. Oh, and Mike.
Mia X Mike, I would say Mia X out of all female rappers. I mean, honestly, she might have the best verses with men on there, like rapping against men. She better than Rage to me. I mean, I'll give Lil Kim the slight edge just because she is Lil Kim. But other than that, I mean, I think Mia X. She never dropped the ball.
Rage? Now that I don't know about.
Yes, Mia X is better than Rage. Mia X is better than Rage.
Nah, Rage is pretty crazy.
Mike, Mia X is better than Rage, Mike.
Mia X is better than. I will give you this. Mia X has a body of work that Rage doesn't have.
I think
and her solo album was better. Mia X album by itself was better than Rage's album. And any track where Mia X on, she flowing she still the show down there half of the time. When she on that, when she on the track with Master, I mean, I guess who she rapping with, they, I guess the competition is a little bit less, but any track where Mia X is on there, she snap on there. And you don't feel like you listening to a female.
Is Mia X one of the most underrated MCs of all time?
She definitely is as far as females go.
I feel like that about Gangsta Boo. I always have.
Mike, I'm glad you brought up Gangsta Boo.
Because if we look at Megan and her approach, it's very Gangsta Boo-esque. And and Megan, I think Megan's a superstar. And
Mia X is smoking Gangsta Boo. She way better than Gangsta Boo.
It's similar though. Rage and
way better, but
delivery.
Mia X is dope.
Mia X forth with Mystical though.
We got that flow, man.
I was just listening to I always feel like somebody watching me.
Yeah.
And you know, Mia X, she killed that verse at the end. She the last one to go on there. I mean, other than Silk the Shocker, I was listening to Silk the Shocker verse. I still love Silk the Shocker verse on that song. But Mia X, I mean, her verse alone is like, I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
Was she the second best rapper on No Limit? Next to Mr.
No, I think Mac, and before Mac went to jail, I think Mac was one of the best. I would say, I mean,
C Murder,
Fiend.
I won't say C. I won't. No, I think Mia X is a better rapper than C Murder though.
I heard what was it? I heard No Limit Soldiers recently, and I heard C Murder's verse, and I'm sitting there thinking like, he's the best rapper on this song.
You talking the one with Silk? You talking the one that was on Silk the Shocker's album?
No, the one that was on the TRU album.
Okay, because he got off on the one that was on Silk though. No Limit Soldiers. So what he say? Feeling in my blood or something like that. I didn't have to sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? You know that verse? Yeah, he got off on that.
Was dope.
C Murder his CD was dope too. I think he probably got the probably second best, maybe third best CD to come out of No Limit at the time. But
LP was right. So we forgot about Soulja Slim.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Mac, Soulja Slim,
Fiend.
I mean, maybe even Fiend. You know, but listen, I like No Limit though. So I was a No Limit fan. So I even like Mr. Servon. I like Mr. Servon first album too.
And that Give It to Him Raw. That Give It to Him Raw album. There was a song called At the Same Time with Snoop. That's a slept on Snoop record. Snoop snapping on that joint.
Hey, Snoop's No Limit album is actually slept on.
Which one? Because I thought Top Dog was dope.
The Last Meal.
You like The Last Meal? I like Top Dog. Top Dog is dope.
They both was fire.
No, they both was. Yeah, they both was.
Yeah.
And he has some joints on The Game Is to Be Sold, Not Told, too.
Exactly. That's why I was going to say that, too. Yeah.
Snoop discography is dangerous. Snoop's discography is dangerous.
The only person I'm confident in taking on Snoop's discography with is Tupac. Everybody else can get it.
But honestly, though, I mean, I'm just going to keep it real.
Tupac's discography is great. Snoop Dogg got about 35 albums.
Yeah.
The best rapper on No Limit was Master P.
Whoa. I didn't
expect Master P was the best rapper. He got the best songs. He got the best albums out of all of them for like his total package from
the best albums. Now I give you that. But I don't think he was the best rapper. I think that was
maybe not on a lyrical sense, but when his verses I would even say song wise. Like you just go song per song through No Limits category. Master P got the best songs, pretty much hands down. I mean,
to me, Mystical just made songs that nobody else could make. You know what I'm saying? Like he's such a unique artist. I'm like, what did he come up with this at?
He was James Brown, Mike. He's the actual modern day James Brown. That's kind of crazy.
But do Mystical don't have a better song than like If I Could Change or Only God Could Judge Me or Always Look a Man in His Eyes. He don't have like I'm saying song quality. Like Mystical might have been the most talented as far as but I think song wise, Master P got them, man.
But I mean, the Mystical couldn't go and hit you with some introspective stuff.
Yeah, he couldn't hit you with the streets, the street stuff, and then even like the verses that Master P would spit on there, like Street Life or I mean, I can just go. I can't just say it, but if I had to put together a playlist, Master P was killing everybody on No Limit.
Yeah, well, all right. Let's talk about this real quick before we get out of here. Versus is coming back. And they just did a deal with Elon Musk's X, and I don't really know all the intricacies of how that deal's going into play and how that's going to work out for the fans. But who do you think should be the next Versus? Do we finally need to go down that No Limit Cash Money road, or is that not big enough for what they want to do? Or What do you think they're gonna roll out as that next verses?
Mike, let me say this, right?
Go
I was
ahead,
listening
man.
to 3 6 Mafia the other day, that first album. Who is the
Which
producer
one,
of those
Mystic
beats?
Styles?
Yeah, who's producing those beats?
DJ Paul and Juicy J.
DJ Paul. Yeah.
Okay, they're top 5. They're better than Dr. Dre. Those are some of the best beats I ever heard in my life. I ain't gonna lie.
Listen, man. Mad Max, for you to say that puts a smile on my face, man. Ron knows I was listening to these beats like 25 years ago and thinking the same thing.
Mike,
you tweaking, Mad Max. Now better than Dr. Dre now. Come on, man.
Ron. I'm hearing the beats. Mike. I'm like, yo, this shit sound like it
crazy.
came out last week.
It's crazy.
Hey,
As far as the staying power of it, nobody's stuff has stayed around like 3 6 Mafia stuff. Like you said, feels like it came out last week because it did. Everybody's using these guys' stuff from like 25 years ago.
And let's keep it real about Dr. Dre too.
30 years ago.
I ain't heard nobody say this about Dr. Dre yet, but I gotta say it. When Dr. Dre when he samples anybody, right? It sounds exactly like the original music. So it's almost like he's stealing the music, really. When you listen to G-Thang is not different than the original sample. When you listen to Let Me Ride, it's not different than the original sample. When you listen to a lot of Dr. Dre songs where he used a sample, he just taking the music and he might add a little bit more bass to it, a little bit more drum, a little bit to it, but it's still Parliament P-Funk. It's still whoever he's taking the sample from. It's still their music. It sounds exactly the same.
Very Diddy-ish.
My thing is,
he chopped up Let Me Ride. This is what I will say about Dre.
99 to like 2003 in his mixtape bag, because Dr. Dre was doing mixtape stuff for like Bishop Lamont, the 50 Cent Crew, the Stack Quos. Them beats he was reaching in his bag in that time period were crazy. The 2001 Chronic era of Dre is ridiculous.
Well, he added live instrumentation into what he did, and you're right, he may have taken certain loops, but what he did was used his unique, incredible engineering power to bump these sounds all the way up. And when I hear the live version of Let Me Ride from the Up in Smoke tour, I mean, that shit sounds incredible, man. If somebody wants to say he's the greatest producer of all time, I'm okay with that based on how things come across the speakers. Now, if we're talking about being able to create something and be creative as a producer, he may not be that number one guy I go to. But I understand what you mean, Mad Max, man. This shit was crazy. Like 3 6 stuff just brings out it's like a chakra, man. Like it brings out an energy. Like it's fight music without even trying to be fight music.
It's like similar
Mafia 6 stuff where DJ Paul is basically recreating some of their old stuff in more recent times. It's even better than what it used to be. Like it's insane.
We gotta close out. So we're gonna go around real quick. Mad Max, Super Duper, and Leroy. Let's close out the show. What's your final thoughts, Mad Max?
I was just gonna say it kind of reminds me of like a little bit of like that DMX 98 stuff, but I think to answer the original point about verses, I don't know who they should start with. I would like a battle with I guess they should start with the West Coast. So I don't know who they could do. Maybe
Kendrick versus Kung Fu Kenny.
Nah,
Kendrick
that's not
versus Kenny. No, I want Drake versus Kendrick. Let's do it.
Dog Pound versus anybody who Dog Pound anybody?
Okay, Leroy. How about Dog Pound versus who hasn't gone yet? I don't even remember who hasn't gone.
Yeah,
I think
Tony Braxton versus Mary J. Let's see Tony Braxton versus Mary J.
Oh, Mary J killing her. Come on, man.
Yeah, Mariah versus Mary J.
That could happen.
Mary J's killing her too.
I agree with Mad Max.
The Game and T.I. Come on, man. Discography wise,
I like that one.
The Game and T.I. I like that one.
It's gonna be a long night with that.
I like
Lil Wayne and T.I. Let's do that. Let's do Lil Wayne and T.I.
That's the better one actually, because they have a rivalry that nobody talks about. T.I. was just as big as Lil Wayne in 09. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about that.
They need that. Well, I think they both need that, but T.I. really needs that.
Yep. So yeah, Max, check back on Wednesday, brother. Thank you for tapping in, bro. Super duper. You had a crazy list today, brother. You had some joints that we didn't think about. You got some other conversations that we need to kind of talk about next. Whether Lady of Rage versus Mia X. It's another conversation for another day. But that's interesting, man. What's your closing thoughts, bro?
I mean, just sitting here thinking about what we're talking about, man. I mean, it made me feel bad for the game, man. I mean, looking at these freshman covers and talking about feature game, we couldn't even reach back damn there within the last 15, 20 years to say something was being really great. I mean, the state of hip hop is on shaky ground right now, unless something is gonna happen, man. Because I mean, it's I don't know. Maybe the kids need to have this conversation or something, because I mean, it's hard to go back into that into the bag, or have like music that's came out within the last 15 years that even can garner any respect, to even be considered great like that. Like, that's kind of crazy right now to even think about that. Like, I just sitting here just thought about that right now as we closing out, like that between the freshman album covers and these feature lists. I mean, we need a hip hop savior, man. I mean, I don't know if Kendrick is that or not, but we definitely need somebody to come through and inspire these people to get back to spitting bars and being original and
maybe it's us.
50 Cent right now.
Maybe it's us. Maybe it's According to Hip Hop. Maybe we need to start a publishing branch or a record label, and we start getting our own acts and put it on According to Hip Hop.
We really need just better talent evaluators. That's all we really need. Some of these guys shouldn't be walking in the door.
Mike, you might need to dust off the mic and drop an album, bro. What about that?
That's what I was saying. You and Leroy need to collab or something.
Yeah, Leroy, you do a combination. Maybe I could be in the background, do the ad libs or something.
I got a verse or two for y'all. I don't know if it's gonna save hip hop though, but no.
Yeah, we can do
but straight up though, I mean, that's the state of the game right now is it's in the hands of Kendrick. I mean, as far as respect go, and because everybody else that's out, nobody else really respect him. At least none of us that tune into this podcast. You say 21 Savage or somebody like that, people start laughing at you. You say Future, they like, he not a rapper. You say Drake, they say he pop. It's like, like what's the game going? Where we gonna go from here? Is it up or down?
What are your thoughts, Leroy?
It's a lack of vision in the game, and we're looking for a one-year artist. We're looking for the artist that's hot for 1 year, and that's all we ask for. All we ask is them to have one good song that for 1 year that can be on par with Ice Spice, and we're satisfied with that. And it's like, it's got to be more, man. It's got to be more than just that, So it's like, where are the artists with like the vision of having something to offer the game? And if you don't have nothing to offer the game, maybe your songs are just really that good. But just going on this person has a fan base of teenagers that may be able to get us, some money for the year. That's such a low standard and low ceiling. It should be, and I know Double XL can do better because you've had great artists on your covers before. So I know that somebody over there has the vision to see what's going on. But the last like grassroots person that I seen was like West Side Gun. Everybody else, that's a label artist. That's a major label. So if someone comes out the woodwork, the internet people, the pods, we're gonna have to support that person, because if this person comes in off the street, that means this person doesn't have the machine. This would be their machine,
But man, but what about the producer?
I want to leave with one question, like who's the next big three? And
I mean, we gotta break that a whole show, man. We gotta make that a whole show and kind of think about that.
Producers. I think it's the producers, though. It's the producer's fault. If you really think about it, the producer kind of sets the stage to give a sound for an artist to do what they do. A lot of these artists lack focus because their producers aren't really producing them.
Pop Smoke dying really hurt the game, man. He was the next one. That mean he was
world too.
and he was superstars, man. And Pop really put a crater in the game that we ain't recovered from, man. But Mike, I'm gonna let you close it out. I just want to say this last thing before we wrap up. Last show, I made a mistake. I had a bad take that I didn't like. I said, since rap is different, and Super Duper kind of put this idea in my head back a couple shows ago, we should have different weight classes for hip hop. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think we need to have like the lyrical miracle category or the the conscious category or the street category. Hip hop is just hip hop. There's no need and giving people like different weight classes and separating, like they give people a pass and for they can sneak in and say, well, I'm the best. It's just about the music. It's about the bars. That's what it is. And however you fall is however you fall. So I take that back. I didn't like that take. I slept on it last night. I was like, nah, I don't need to be no damn divisions.
That's not a take. That's not a bad take.
No, I don't like that take. I want you, if you rapping, you rap. That's what it is. And however you fall is how you fall. So I scratched that from the record. That's what I want to end on. Mike, to you.
Well, I will say this, man, and people in the chat have brought up a great point. This generation has lost a lot of their potential great ones, right? You know, you got Juice WRLD, you got XXXTentacion, you got Takeoff, you got Nipsey, you got Pop Smoke, and the list goes on, and even cats that probably was still getting their footing. You never know what they would have made 2-3 years later. So I think that's one thing that's kind of hurt this era as well, where it's a lot of their guys that were supposed to be next and possibly next or actually on a run, they didn't get a chance to continue on. So got to embrace the ones that are doing it and make sure that they're moving right and make sure that they're able to do things that are furthering their legacy. The Nipsey situation was extremely unfortunate and probably not preventable, but we got to protect our culture and the craft and the people that are working hard doing it, man.
So, hey, let me clarify something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I never was saying that we should be separating by lyrical miracle. That never was my point of saying this. What I was saying is that when we make these lists, we need to separate these lists by discography. So if we're going to say that somebody is the greatest or the greater, we should be ranking them by discography versus anything else. So if your discography is great and you make great songs, then that's how you should be ranked. That alone, because when we get into this lyrical conversation, right? This is where, like you said, you get to squeezing people in for no reason. Like, oh yeah, he got the literary devices. He's lyrical on the microphone. He's more lyrical than this person, but the songs don't match up. He don't have the songs that this other guy has. So that's really what I was saying, that they should be separated by discography in greatness list rather than being lyrical guys. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I think I'm all right with separating because I think we're on different pages. And it's like, if we're going to be together, okay, cool. If everybody in rap's going to be on one accord, as long as we're doing unconscious music, we are going to stay in the same place and nothing's going to move. That's one thing. Second, people that make a lyrical argument like, oh, lyricism's not all that. I know no one's saying that verbatim, but it's not all about the lyricism, but Nas is number one. You're saying two things, you know what I mean? So it's like, don't name Nas as number one, but lyricism is not a big deal to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Nas will be number one by discography,
right?
Not just for the lyricism alone.
And storytelling and longevity.
Has a discography. Everyone that's in the great argument have a great discography, or else they wouldn't be in the conversation.
Some discographies are greater than the others. Yeah, we could be talking about this forever, but yeah, some discography. So that's like I said, we can't speak out loud on this podcast because people do start stealing your work. But
we know about that, don't we? Yeah. Super duper. We know about that joint, don't we?
Yeah.
All right, well, hit like and subscribe, everybody, man. We're gonna see y'all Wednesday. Thank y'all for tuning in. A2HH and Mic Check Mondays, sir.
Salute.
Yeah.